life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
Well, look who decides to show up. Better late than never. Merry Christmas, everybody.
I'm always right on time, baby. Right on
Just like
time.
the fat man coming down the slide, down the chimney. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Festivus yesterday. I am that dude. Welcome to the NFL Sunday Game Show. Just in time. You know who he is. My main man, Tanner Dawson. Tanner, Merry Christmas to you and yours. Johnny
You as well.
a little bit later. He told me we did a show last night. It was freezing in Florida, and I know we live close to each other, so I know what your temperature was, about -7 yesterday. He says it's freezing in Florida, 50 degrees, so I just figured the pipes froze down in Florida, and he was working on getting running water with that 50 degree weather that is so cold down there.
And you know they're in the heavy coats, they're in the gloves, they're doing everything like that.
Yeah, we got a heat wave today, Tanner. It's going to be 20 degrees.
That's almost shorts weather right now.
Right, exactly. Let's go ahead. We'll get into our first guest. Welcome to the show. You guys know who it is. It's Mr. Matt Larson.
Hey, Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, you too,
Matt.
man.
Matt, let's go ahead. Let's jump right into it. What games are you looking at today to kind of either take some bets on? Who we putting our money on?
Well, I would start with Buffalo and Chicago. A lot of people are saying that this might be a trap game for Buffalo because on next Monday we got Cincinnati. That's going to be a huge game. But I don't see it that way, not just because I'm a Bills fan, but I do see that, this is a good matchup for Buffalo. Chicago's defense is almost collegiate. It's absolutely terrible. I think if it is going to be close, it's going to be because Chicago does score some points. Fields is something that a lot of teams haven't seen. And this is going to be Buffalo's first time seeing him. So I think that he could have some success there. So from a fantasy perspective, I would still play Fields. I feel comfortable that he'll still score a decent amount of points. But the best bet for that game is the over, which is set right now at about 40. I think that's easy money right there. I think Buffalo doesn't score anything short of 28, 24 points, and Chicago will probably get some too. So I could absolutely see that going over 40. That's really where I'm looking. I see like some other games today. We've got Minnesota. I'm always pretty confident in Minnesota. Even giving them some points. They had that close game last week. Everybody's probably biting their tongue, taking Minnesota, and they pulled it out. So they sometimes they don't win, but it's really close. So I think you could
Indy covered in that game, though. Indy covered.
They did cover.
They did. They did.
Are you laying the 8 points here with the Bills, or are you going to give the 8 with the Chicago?
I'm definitely comfortable laying 8 points. I mean, you could go down to maybe 6 or 7 if you feel more comfortable that way. If they only win by 7, it's just a wash. You don't lose anything. But it's not in the 9 or 10 range where people start to get a little weary, and that's where you start to see the unders be more successful. I do feel like this is a game for Buffalo where I think they're ready to show. We had the reporter a few weeks ago tell Josh Allen that this isn't a Super Bowl offense. And they got him fired up. So I think this is where they start to get into form, get ready for the playoffs. And they'll be able to do it against a great opportunity because, like I said, this Bears defense might be the worst in the NFL. It's pretty bad.
Well, looking at it too, the Bills rushing yards allowed are 6th best in the league. So, I mean, if any defense is going to slow down Justin Fields, it should be this one.
Yeah, and there's really no threat in terms of the passing game for Chicago. They don't have Darnell Mooney. I don't think Chase Claypool is back either. They're really hurt that, and I think their running backs are back. Khalil Herbert's back, so they are going to try to run the ball. It is going to be very, very cold down there, which might help Josh Allen. He throws a firearm every time he throws, so maybe they'll douse it a little bit. But I think that if there is going to be success for Chicago, it is going to be Fields, even though Buffalo is good at keeping everybody in between the 20s and then really shutting down in the red zone. So that's how I feel about that. But I still like the over. I still think that Chicago will score some points, maybe 14, 17. But Buffalo I think they're going to put the foot on the gas and they're just going to score as many points as possible, get Cincy scared, and hopefully that will continue as a Bills fan.
Yeah, looks like we got 40 all the way across here for this Buffalo-Chicago game, 40.5 on FanDuel if you want to get real crazy. So, it all looks pretty decent bets for me. So I agree with that one.
Yeah, man, I was just going to ask, what's the lock of the day then? Because, I'm broke from Christmas. I got just a little bit of money left. I need to win back my Christmas money. Who's the lock of the day here that I can just, hey, I need to win some money to make me feel good and get back some Christmas money that I overspent?
Well, I got a couple that I really like this week, and they're just straight picks. I like the Texans this week. I think Tennessee is reeling. They don't have Tannehill. Malik Willis has not looked good when he has played. I mean, he did have the good game against Kansas City, but that was really Derrick Henry. Houston has played really well the last few weeks. They have the wiggle room that they could win one more game and still probably have the first pick. This team is playing really hard. So I would look at them. If you want to throw some money at them, they're obviously going to be a positive differential because they're the underdog. And then I like Dallas. I think they're going to rebound after that soft loss to Jacksonville. The defense just gave that up. A lot of people want to blame Prescott, but it was not his fault. He had
Gardner Minshew going too.
I do like Minshew. I don't want to hate on Minshew. I think he's a really good backup. But in terms of the playoffs, and I always talked about this. We talked about this on the fantasy show last week. Philly's fine with losing this game. If Dallas wins this game, that's going to slide them right into having to play San Francisco into the playoffs. And if Dallas beats San Francisco, great. Philly doesn't have to play them. But if San Francisco takes down a division rival who sees Philly multiple times a season, I think that Philly's happy with that too. I'm not saying they're going to throw the game or anything, but I do think that Philly is comfortable with playing their offense, playing the game. But if this is a must-win for Dallas too.
Even with the reports of Jalen Hurts possibly out the next couple of weeks, like you would think you would want to see Minshew win this game. And then, just in case, something weird happens with Hurts in the end.
Well, they could lose the next 3 games with Hurts being out, and then if the Cowboys win out, it would be real. That's the division at that point in time is tied, so it would break down to several different tiebreakers.
Yeah. I definitely don't think that it's going to be a wash for Philly. I think they're going to, put up a good effort. But in terms of just looking at everything with what they have for this week, I think Dallas is just a better team. It is in Dallas too, so that's another big step up for Dallas. So I would go with Dallas. Just the money line. I wouldn't put any points for Dallas. I don't know how much they'd win by. I still think it's going to be close. Philly, just because they don't have Hurts doesn't mean they're not a really great team. And then my third one's the Lions. I really like the Lions. They've been really successful. This team is probably the hottest in the NFL right now. They need probably 2 more wins to seal a spot in the playoffs with how Seattle's got to play Kansas City this week. And then the rest of them, everybody else behind them is kind of falling apart. I've called it a few weeks ago that the Giants aren't, doing too hot. I think Washington falls out of the playoff race. So I think Detroit's going to sneak their way right in, and they've got a soft schedule too, so they could really beat up on these teams, and I think they're going to just continue to win, and I could see them.
I agree.
10 games.
I agree.
I got the Lions in the playoffs. I think they win out, get in, because I think Green Bay loses tomorrow, so they'll be eliminated. So that last game of the season won't matter. You'll probably see Jordan Love that game, and then the Lions should win that game to get in. Now, if Packers come up with a Christmas miracle tomorrow and beat the Dolphins, that changes some things. But now that I'm sober, unlike last night, when I was half tipsy on Johnny's show, I was trying to convince myself that the Packers could pull the miracle off.
So the meter is going back and forth. Yes. Okay.
Now that I've gotten some rest, sobered up, I realized that there is no hope tomorrow and that the clock strikes midnight. So
gotcha.
The more I drink last night, the more I was believing that it could happen.
Listen, I think the line is, what was the line? 6? Was it 6?
So it opened up at 1 and it's at 3.5 now.
Yeah, it's 3.5.
Nick, I like the Packers. I really do.
They have a
I,
chance.
I think
No,
this
they
is
don't. You guys are watching Fool's Gold. We haven't beat anybody. I mean, we beat the makeshift.
But why not
Rams.
start now?
We beat the makeshift Rams. We beat the Bears, who stink. We have one lone signature win all year, and that was the Cowboys. You know, when they came to Green Bay, and like that was the game you had to win because Aaron wanted to stick it to Mike one more time, and Mike wanted us to win that game. Because he couldn't never get us to win when he was there. So there's that.
hatred. Yeah, I wouldn't put money on it, but I don't think that that's a game where Miami's going to totally dominate. I think that these are the last few games potentially of Aaron Rodgers' career in Green Bay. I don't think he's going to walk off the field with just totally giving up. And like you said, if they win, they're totally in it. I mean, if Detroit loses this week, they're tied in terms of their records. So, and the bottom half of the wild card for the NFC is wide open. Washington, they have a tougher schedule. I think they play 49ers this week.
Yeah.
That's not a sure win. In fact, I wouldn't even pick them to win. The Giants, I think they got lucky. I think they're going to squeak in. They have enough wins right now. They probably need one more win and they'll be fine. But Seattle's got a tough road ahead of them. They got Kansas City this week. So Green Bay has nothing to lose and everything to gain. So I would watch the game. Just temper your expectations, Nick.
My expectations are super tempered. I just said we're going to lose the game.
Well, fair enough.
Oh man, that's good.
You got any more questions for Matt before we get up out of here?
I did have one last question here. One interesting matchup here with a little bit of emotions involved. Las Vegas and Pittsburgh. Right now, Vegas is +2, +1.5 on some other ones. What do you like here? I guess for this game here, I know obviously we had to go money line for the Raiders if it came to it, but I mean TJ Watt's playing, the emotion of Franco Harris passing.
I'm going
and they
Steelers
were gonna,
money line.
yeah. Well, they were gonna, in it or whatever, put his
Immaculate
jersey up or
reception.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Big celebration. Anyways, this weekend. So, what do you like in Pittsburgh here? Do you like? And oh, by the way, it's kind of cold there, right? If it's cold in Pittsburgh, Derek Carr in the cold do not mix. So I guess what do you like there for that game?
The only question mark for Pittsburgh right now is the quarterback situation. I saw that there was a potential that Kenny Pickett might play, but then they just came out and he said that he had some self-diagnosed symptoms for a concussion. So I'm not sure if he's even going to play. I'm not in love with Trubisky. He's kind of been up and down. But with all that being said, I would never put a bet on the Raiders. This team is so unpredictable. One week they're up by 30 points. I guess if you want to bet the Raiders, do it for the first half because they look like a Super Bowl team in the first half, and then they just implode every single game. So, I would look at that maybe. But I like Pittsburgh too because, I mean, Tomlin is a defensive mind. He preys on, teams like Las Vegas where they have inconsistent offenses. And McDaniels, he's a very good coach, maybe coordinator, but he's going to get out coached by Tomlin. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers. If I had to pick a money line for that, I would go Steelers. I wouldn't even give the points to Vegas. It's not enough points.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thanks.
All right, Matt. Well, we appreciate you. And again, where can we all find you at? And have a Merry Christmas, brother.
Just Twitter at Larison Bets. And then on our Thursday show, we did announce that we're going to be starting a Let's Talk Bet show in the coming weeks. So we'll be doing that for all sports platforms. Unfortunately, the NFL season's almost over, but we'll have basketball, baseball, lots of stuff to talk about. And also we're going to roll out a college football show. So we got some stuff in the works here at Let's Talk Sports for myself, and it should be pretty interesting.
That sounds fun, man.
All right. Awesome. Hey, we'll see you, Matt. We appreciate you coming on. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thanks,
yeah,
guys.
you too, man.
The Bills win today. Have a good Christmas.
I hope they don't.
Same to you.
See you, man.
All right, Tanner. Both our teams have my team especially stinks. I feel like so we got to bring in a guy with his team winning, best team in the league right now. I don't care which way you slice it and dice it. They're the number one team. They have the best record. They have their biggest game today, going with Gardner Minshew. And to talk all about it, give it up for Philly Sports Wrap, Tone, what's up, my man?
What's
You've
up?
been avoiding me for the last 3 weeks. I see how it is. Finally catch you on Christmas here. Had to show up. It's a Christmas miracle. You show up, brother. I'm just giving you a hard time. You know that. Is it going to be a Christmas miracle? Gardner Minshew leading the way here for the Eagles versus the Cowboys.
Man, first off, I want to say what's up to you, Tanner and Vikings, man. Y'all guys, man. It's always a pleasure to work with you guys, man. And yeah, it's been rough, man. The last few weeks, I was like, I'm just gotta get this right eventually. Come on, gotta get this together here. So glad to be here today, man. Thank you, seriously. But yeah, to answer your question, man, I don't know, man. I was just saying. It's like, look, Gardner didn't play well last year. And, that's all I got to go by. However,
he's a capable
You need
guy.
him for 2 games, right?
Yeah.
2 games, he plays well. And then after that, it kind of goes downhill. But this is also a different Eagles team. There's also a different weapon on the other side of Devontae this year. There's also a Miles Sanders that has a touchdown this year.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of changes within this.
A.J. Brown has been the key. Their defense, the Eagles' defense, right? What's the key
And
today
get
with Gardner Minshew at the helm to beat the Cowboys in a game that you win, you pretty much wrap it all up?
Yeah, I think the key, like you said, Tanner, is going to be we have different weapons that we did not have last year. And I forgot too, we did play a lot of backups as well. So that was supposed to happen last year, and that was a lot tougher. He's playing by the offensive line. That's the number one key today. We're supposed to be tops when it comes to O-line. They're going to have to protect. Why? Because we number 1 in sacks, and guess who's number 2? The Cowboys.
Cowboys right there.
So got to protect Gardner so that way we don't have the bonehead plays, him just trying to get rid of the ball, throwing interception. Key number 2 is going to be turnovers. Don't turn the ball over. Do not give Dak and them a short field to work with. Don't put your defense in a bind. And then the last key to me of being able to win is run the ball and stop CeeDee Lamb. Run the ball, take the pressure off Gardner. CeeDee Lamb, I was just looking at some cut-ups of him yesterday and how Dallas likes to operate with their offense. They do a lot with him in motion, and then kind of giving him, different ways he can go inside, outside, run across, the face of the linebackers, get to that open spot and run after catch. So understanding what they're doing with him, and like I said, be able to run the ball, stop the run.
Yeah, it's mustache mania, man, up there in Philly right now. It should be some exciting time. It shouldn't be any doubt in this. You got still your star defense out there playing. You got A.J. Brown on one side, Devontae Smith on the other, Dallas Goedert's back, and that line's being the line. And I think you'll see heavy workload from Miles Sanders today as well, between Sanders and Gainwell. So I like this Eagles team. I have them winning, and I also stated on Thursday night post-game show here on Let's Talk Sports that you had the best backup in football.
I agree. Totally. I said that the other day to somebody. I said, I was at work and a guy came up. He's an Eagle fan.
I'll go ahead, and then I'm gonna counter react what Tanner just said.
Okay. All right. But the guy was like, man, I don't know about this. We got Gardner Minshew, man. They probably should still play Hurts and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, look, bro, stop right there. I said, one, Hurts, you got to think bigger picture. We're trying to win a Super Bowl. It's not like, you want to win this game, but the Super Bowl is the bigger picture. Don't risk him being hurt because he don't have to run to get hurt. It could be a sack, fall on his shoulder. Then now you got him. He's gone for the year. Said then also Gardner, compared to all the backups in this league, who would you take? Gardner to me is I'm with you, Tanner. He's the best backup.
Is he though? Here's my counter.
Yes.
Here's my counter argument. Okay. Now, are you talking currently week 16? Or are we talking at the beginning of the year?
Week 16, current backup, because you can't beat the Lance Garoppolo deal.
Yeah.
Even Brock Purdy, right? Like, hey, Lance.
I'm not putting Purdy over Minshew.
Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's 2-0, baby. He's 2-0.
That's fine.
Hey, Hey, but
mean,
Gardner
hey,
got a better resume right now, man. I can't go off of
Does
just
he?
those couple games with Brock
Does
Purdy.
he? Because Minshew, we saw Minshew Mania in Jacksonville didn't look all that great.
Actually, that's why he made it in Philly, because the way he did look when he had the starters healthy.
Absolutely.
I hope Minshew. I like Minshew. I think he's a great character and a great, I think so. If you're telling me week 16 that he's the best backup in the league, I would have to like really go through it, but he's probably right up there. He's definitely a capable backup. He's obviously a guy you want more than a couple other people out there.
I'm putting him over Teddy, right?
All day.
I'm putting him over Teddy.
Yeah.
All day.
I would put him over Teddy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple other guys.
And what other backup?
Jameis Winston? Is he
put him
better
over
than
Jameis?
Jameis is, man.
I don't know.
No.
Look,
the
who
same.
else is going to give you the energy,
same.
the fire,
That's
to
true.
continue
That
to
is
keep
true.
this
I'll give you that.
going? It's
Hey,
Mustache Mania walking out with the cut off freaking shirt, going probably in Dallas's little bit of snow they got, doing snow angels, and then probably flipping it off and then going out and playing some football. So I love me some Gardner Minshew.
Minshew's going to be fired up. He is going to be fired up. That's one thing you count
Leach.
for him.
So he was a big Leach guy too. If you remember, he went to his funeral.
Oh yeah,
Leach was the big reason why he made it to where he is in the NFL, or how he made it in the NFL.
Washington State, yeah.
So like, that's a little bit of emotions as well. Being out playing, like, hey, I got to do this for coach. So there's that as well.
Yeah. So I say he's gonna be ready to go. He's gonna be fired up. He's gonna be motivated. Got a few factors motivating him, and him being energized like that should get this team energized. And hey, I'm looking for the Eagles to have 4 players with 10 plus sacks. Man, when the last time that has happened in the NFL? We got Josh Sweat with 9.5, and we got Brandon Graham. I think he's right at 8.
I feel like that's like a Bucks defense style somewhere, like within the last few years of when they were good at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it was Sue and Vita Vea down in 2020, I feel like that was the last time there was a defense even remotely close to that.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna do some research on that one for sure.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know what you find out too. Yeah. I'd be kind of curious about that.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So I guess with that in the play here, obviously, 2 of the top defenses in football here going against it. But one thing is the wide receivers for Dak can't seem to execute when it's needed, right? So AKA Noah Brown, dropping the pass and turned into an interception last week, I think twice. And it's just Dak's having he's getting to there. The receivers aren't executing. With your corners, your secondary that you have in place, do you feel comfortable about causing those disruptions for a guy like Noah Brown, for a guy like Michael Gallup, even coming into play for this game?
Absolutely, especially since Maddox is back.
I forgot about Maddox.
That was our one weakness we had a few games was that slot, and we was getting 8 up there. So with him being back, shoring that up, I think we won't have a problem. Bradbury is at the top of the league in pass defense. Slayer is a Pro Bowler. Maddox, one for injuries, probably would be right there, and he's playing well in that slot. I just think it's just a matter of communicating, and we have in that zone, making sure we are playing and somebody's there in each receiver's face as they go across in these different pockets. But I definitely feel good about our secondary against those guys.
Sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say, like, obviously, if Dallas is smart, if they start smart, it's the thing, right? Their personnel. If they put that 1-2 punch in with Zeke and Pollard, obviously you got to pick, what are you really going to sell out for in that offense? Because Dallas's offense isn't bad, just lacks some execution here and there. Mm-hmm. But, like, let's say we start early, we see Pollard and Zeke in this backfield, not, back and forth here. That's a tough running game. Obviously, Jordan Phillips coming back a couple weeks ago really helped that out. Sue coming into play as well. But do you feel comfortable enough for this defense to stop the 1-2 punch if McCarthy puts in the right personnel?
So, can it be done? Am I comfortable with it? No, but can it be done? Yeah. Because I feel like if I'm the D coordinator, our secondary can handle their receivers. I'm focusing on taking away the option to run. I want it to where you're getting nothing when you run the ball, and I'm going to force you to throw because we know we get some pressure on Dak. Right now, he's making bad decisions. Force him into throwing the ball in the coverage. Take run out the equation because that, to me, honestly, is their strength. Yes, I'm not taking nothing away from CeeDee Lamb, but their strength is the ability to have both of those backs back there. And Pollard is explosive, man. I mean, super explosive.
He is.
And that has to be stopped or you're going to have a problem, period.
So, real quick here, the last 5 games in rushing, by the way, this is just yards going into play. Pollard has gone 5 to, earliest to latest. 80, 60, 91, 42, 75. Zeke, 42, 92, 77, 62, 58. Obviously, if you stop the run, you force it in Dak's hands. And like I said, I think the weakness this year is basically anybody under CeeDee Lamb right now, even when T.Y. Hilton come in play. So if you can almost, it's almost like sell out the run at this point.
Yeah. I'm not. You sell out to stop the run. I don't know if T.Y. is playing.
T.Y. He was supposed to. As of yesterday, he was scheduled. Like they said, he was playing.
Yeah.
So obviously, we'll find out here in about an hour and a half or so.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
absolutely for sure. Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how they implement him.
What's your prediction before you get out of here, Tom? What's your prediction on today's game? I took Philly with the points, but I kind of like the Cowboys money line. But what's your prediction here?
Yeah, I'm going to go an upset, and I'm saying an upset because we're not favored to win this game. And I really think it's going to be down to the wire. I think it's going to take a defensive stop. I think Dak will fold again, not get the job done. And Eagles escape with a 28-27 victory in Dallas. Merry Christmas, Philadelphia.
Give me Minshew mustache money line. I put it on Tuesday. When I saw that thing flip on Tuesday, I put Minshew money line on. I got like $10 on it.
Okay,
like, maybe let's roll.
Let's roll
all in on Minshew Mania.
Yeah.
When we talk next weekend, we're gonna be talking about Minshew here. So
hey, and I'm with it, man. Bring me back. I'll be more than happily we come back and talk about that.
That's right, man.
You gotta get the full stash on. If the full stash and everything.
Hey.
Hey, what you gonna do, brother, when Minshew Mania is running wild on you?
Hey, look, I might have to try to find me a stash today when I do the live stream, man. That would be nice. I like that.
Just get like a black comb or something like that. Put it on.
Put it up there. Absolutely, man.
And where can we find you at, Tone, before you get out of here? Go ahead and get those plugs in.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Definitely on YouTube, Philly Sports Rap. Find me up there. We'll be up there. I'll be live today. I got my Saturday show. We're doing it early today since the game. I know we're going to have a few other games. I'll probably be chopping it up and talking about those games that's going on. Then definitely I'll be live streaming. But you also can catch me on Twitter, Philly Sports Rap. Also on Instagram, Philly Sports Rap, man. So I'm very active on all 3 of those pages.
Awesome.
All right, appreciate it, Tom. Hey,
Definitely.
Merry Christmas. You have a good
Merry
one.
Christmas. All right, man. Appreciate y'all.
Guys. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Tanner, we saw. Oh, Tanner.
Sorry, give me a minute. Give me a minute.
Okay. Hey, well, Tanner, we saw on Thursday night game the Jags get the big win. One of the teams that they are chasing, and I feel like can chase down and pass, is a team that is sliding, is the Titans, and a team that maybe that we thought they were going to be bottom of the barrel with is the Texans. And what do you know? Our next two guests is none other than Mr. First Down representing the Titans and Carlos representing the Texans. Before we get into y'all's matchup, I want to know if you guys, especially you, Mr. First Down, how worried are you with the Jacksonville Jaguars breathing down your necks as you guys are on the skids and they look like a team on the rise?
In the words of the Emperor from Star Wars, it is unavoidable. It is your destiny. So yeah, they're red hot, and every fan in this game knows when you're hot. That's when it matters, right? And those guys are burning, and that's good because it's like 5 degrees today here, and I'm
Amen to
currently.
that.
Yeah, currently hiding in my parents' laundry room to do this and get on with Carlos and his cute little boy smile and smirk at me. And anyway, but yeah, morale is still low, understandably so. And boy, what a bevy of like crazy incidents, right? Your entire offensive line was on the injury report, every single one of them. So now there's 3 guys that are probably stocking, the warehouse at Target and Walmart that are now going to go out and block for this poor kid and Malik Willis. And your only hope today, if you're a Titans fan, is that you let Henry roll. And I just don't know if it's going to be possible. But 5 degrees, you're at home. Oh, and by the way, they're probably going to postpone our game because there's rolling blackouts going through Tennessee right now.
Oh,
So
Man.
yeah, so we'll see what news comes of that. But that was something that came across this morning. But my only hope is that the Titans can get Henry rolling, and we can try to not make Malik Willis throw. Kind of like the last time we played the Texans, he threw like his interception. Then Mike Vrabel was like, "All right, that's enough of that. We'll just." So, but anyway, Carlos, how you feel about it, buddy?
Exactly.
I'm hosting the show now.
Hey guys, how's it going? First of all, I specifically told Dan I didn't want to be on the show with you.
Oh,
You know exactly why. I need to talk to Dan, and also I'm not allowed to talk to him, so I need a mediator here. Everything that I say has to go through either Botkins or Tanner. You gotta have.
so
to,
we got Botkins here.
Hey,
Me and
okay,
if you ever want to
Hey,
see
so-
your children again, you'll talk. Okay, you hear me?
So, Mr. First Down, Carlos is saying F you and your team.
Hell.
They're rolling into Tennessee today. They've been
Hurts me.
playing hard. They feel good for Lovie Smith. They almost beat the Chiefs. They almost beat the Cowboys. They're going to lay the smacketh down on the Titans, baby. That's what Carlos just said. If you would like a rebuttal, Mr. First Down, you can go ahead. Is that what was that a perfect translation, Carlos?
You're
perfect.
witness counselor. I mean, that's the big word, though, right? Okay, if you want me to talk smack, almost is the word in that sentence, right? Almost, Pete. Almost. Did this. So it's okay. Me and Carlos have had many a conversation, intimate and not intimate, and we feel that. Sorry, we decided we were going to be terrorists. Me and Carlos decided we were going to be terrorists today. So we're looking at it, and it's cold outside. So I think it's going to come down to who's going to run the ball today. Do you want the guy that backs up Pierce to run the ball, or do you want the King to run the ball? I want the King to run the ball. So
Yeah.
that's how I see us trying to get out of this game, and that's how I see us trying to get out of this game alive before we go get just boat raced by the Cowboys next Thursday.
So, let me back you up on that one. Honestly, to be honest, I'm really hard on my team sometimes. Because my webcam is messing up. So
You really are.
yeah. I'm really hard on my team sometimes. And let me switch cameras really quick. I'm really hard on my team sometimes. Yeah. There we go. But I gotta say, these last few times that I've been kind of hard on my team, like we've been doing surprisingly better. This whole dual quarterback with Jeff Driscoll and Davis Mills has kind of been working, but again, it's one of those experiments that's probably going to not work for too long. But I mean, it worked against the Cowboys for a while. We held them down up until the last few minutes of the fourth quarter. Surprisingly, it worked against the Kansas City Chiefs as well. Surprisingly, and then today I'm gonna actually be the optimist on this one. I think it might actually.
They're screwed. Don't do it, Carlos.
They're screwed.
Don't do it, Carlos. Do it.
Today.
You've been pessimistic. That's been working.
Yeah,
That's
it's been working. I'm gonna, and just you know what, and you know why? Because we have nothing to lose, even if we win or lose, like whatever. It's it'll be cool to see a little victory, and then I would never let Mr. First Down let it go, because it was like, okay, so we beat y'all, and now like your spot for the playoffs is like even worse. So basically, no. Honestly, I say we give it a competitive game. It is going to be very cold, like Mr. First Down said. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be all running game, and I think Derrick Henry balls out. And I hope he does, because I have him on fantasy, and this is I'm already in the playoffs. So if I get this, I go to the championship. But I hope. And nonetheless, I don't think our running backs are good. We have a guy named Freeman, number 26. Look out for him. He runs pretty fast. Not fast, but he runs pretty hard. Almost similar to a little bit of Damian Pierce, I don't think to that level, but look out for number 26. I think they're going to use him a lot. They're going to use probably Rex Burkhead here and there, and they're going to use Owundawale, number 34.
Yeah, you're gonna see that 3-man like we saw last week of the running back splits.
Right. So just look out for number 26. He might be a little dark horse there, but I think they're gonna mainly use him as a power runner against the Tennessee Titans. I'm gonna assume they're gonna use the whole Jeff Driscoll Davis Mills pairing. Now, one of those things that has worked with them is because they usually have a wide receiver, Chris Moore, on there, and he's a guy that just came out of nowhere. He's a special teamer, and Davis, that has been Davis Mills' target after the whole Brandon Cooks debacle thing, which apparently, from the last time I checked, supposedly Brandon Cooks is supposed to play today. So,
yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, so he's supposed to play. So I guess it's like however he feels like that day, whatever. And so I'll play. Yeah, I'll play. And so for that reason, I think we're gonna do okay. I still think it's gonna be a low scoring game, which I hope it's not, because I want Derrick Henry to ball out. I know, because fantasy makes you do weird things, guys. Fantasy makes you do weird things.
Weird place to be.
No hope, right? Like, that's the only team you can really root for. Is your fantasy team to win.
Exactly. So no, it's gonna be, honestly, it's gonna be one of those games where it's just gonna be cold. It's going to be, I think, low scoring game. What do you think, Mr. First Down? I think Mr. First Down, we're in a podcast this week, and we kind of mentioned the same thing. We think it's gonna be a low score, but what do you think, bud?
I was waiting for you to bring that up. I think you're absolutely right. I think it's off tackle left and off tackle right all game. I think that's what it's going to be. Extra blockers inside. Number 76 is eligible, but it doesn't really matter. They're going to run the ball. I think I think it's going to be smash mouth. Who wants it more kind of game, and that's just the way it's going to be. But I think if there is any throwing here, and if you see any young quarterback in the league, it's the tight ends, right? I think the tight ends are going to carry most of the load today. They're going to go up to Malik Willis and Chega Okonkwo and Austin Hooper are going to say, hey, I'm your boy. I'm going to run 3 yards and catch the ball. Just, do it for me. But I'm totally with Carlos. It's going to be a pound for pound game. And I'm probably just going to be eating kettle corn out of a bin. Just copious amounts of kettle corn falling down my face, watching this boring game, but acting like it's a big deal.
Think about me. Think about me while you're doing that.
I will, Carlos. I will think about you.
Yeah.
I try not to, but you just kind of stick in there,
That's what I do. It's the impression I have.
Slide up into my DMs.
I don't know. I kind of feel this game, because I actually did bet Houston +3 in a parlay, because I do like Houston in this game, just the way the trajectory has gone for Tennessee. It's and Malik's he can be good, but it's not his time. I don't think it's his time yet.
He's not ready. He's not ready.
So you are going to see a lot of runs. You're going to see tons of runs, but I think it comes down to if Malik can get it just to a couple receivers, and also Derrick Henry in the pass game. That comes down to the difference.
Back too. I think Burks is back this game.
Yeah, Burke. I think I saw Burks back too. So yeah, I mean, with Burks being back, that helps that offense. But does it help Malik enough to be able to get it there? So that's kind of where I'm looking at. I know. I just like I like Houston the way they've been playing the last 3 games, and Tennessee unfortunately is on that fight or die mode with the Bengal with the Bengals. No, not the Bengals.
Jaguars.
The Jaguars. Thank you. I was trying to figure the
one
team.
of the cats. One of the
You
cats.
know,
One of those kitties.
It's a lot. It's a lot more fun if you say Jaguar in a British accent.
Jaguar.
I see you eyeing my Jaguar.
What do you say? You sound like Sean Connery.
Listen, there's Jaguar. I don't know why. I'm sorry, guys. I'm cool.
Another guy to look out for in the Texans defense. Look out for Jalen Petrie. That guy has been playing like a man possessed. Number 5, Jalen Petrie. With the absence of Derek Stingley's out for the season. Damian Pierce is out for the season. But yeah, look, the guy that has really, really like, even if you go back to that Cowboys game, that guy's like really cementing himself to be a great player. Number 5, Jalen Petrie for the Texans. Watch out for him. That guy is a safety. He's the guy that ended up replacing Reed for us, and when he went over there to Kansas City. And I believe that's a really good replacement. It's definitely an upgrade. Nothing against Reed or anything. It's just like I feel like for our defense, I think he was a great upgrade. But nonetheless, just look out for Jalen Petrie. That's going to be a good one. And that's all I can think about as far as a secondary. Our secondary is actually okay. It's just it's for us as we don't have a defensive lineman. We don't really have. We have like one linebacker, Christian Harris, number 48. Look out for him too. Yeah. But as far as like offensively, we don't. It's like we don't have tight ends. We haven't had tight ends in like 10 years for the Texans. Like we don't utilize them at all. So that's not going to be a threat for y'all.
What is it? Quatoriano or whatever? Didn't he score like 2 or 3 touchdowns and it's like 4 catches?
Right. And that's he might be one of those guys that might be coming up or showing off, but I don't see him as a big starter. The last big tight end that I can remember that showed some spark for the Texans was a few years ago, number 87 Fedorowicz, but then he had to leave because I think a concussion protocol. And then before that, we had this kid named Graham, and then before that, not Jimmy Graham or anything, but some kid named Graham. And then before that was like Owen Daniels, So really, our tight end
match job days,
back in the match. So we really haven't had much of a good history with tight ends. I mean, I'm speaking with you guys. You had Delaney Walker for goodness' sake. So
miss him every day.
Clutch.
Yeah, very clutch.
So I got one last question before we get you guys out of here, Mr. First Downs. When we first saw you, when you did your premiere with the Game Day show, you had all the fancy, you're at the game, you had your pink little, scarf going, you had the glasses, you had everything.
Guilty as charged.
Second appearance, the pink scarf's gone, but the glasses were still there. Your headset's still there. Right. Third appearance here, no glasses. I mean, and all of it's been losses every single time.
You're like the Titans regressing.
It's strip fandom, right? I lose article of clothing, everything.
Every loss.
Don't come on next week with no shirt on, will you? Don't come on next week.
I got a jacket and a toboggan. It's not like totally.
He's shirtless next week.
We have a hard enough mouth to keep the show PG-13, so
You can't do that with Carlos and I on air. That's just never going to happen.
Not going to happen. Sorry.
All right, guys. I love it.
Yeah, we try to. We try to. The boas will come out during the draft again, okay? It's just not boa season. Don't you keep up with trends? God.
Not
bad. Always a pleasure, guys.
Yes.
Give us a quick score before we get out of here, boys. Before you guys get out of here, go ahead, Carlos. Give us a quick score.
Carlos.
What did we say on the show? 12-9? Like that was going to be
I think it's 12-9 is what we said. Yeah,
I'm going to go with 12-9.
12-9.
I hope more.
12-9 Titans or Texans?
Oh, 12-9. I'm going to go with Texans on this one. 12-9 Texans.
I'll go with Titans, I guess. 12-9 Titans.
Okay. I got the Jaguars winning the division, baby. Hey, Merry Christmas. See y'all.
All right, y'all have a good one. Carlos, I'll see you tonight, okay?
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Tanner, as we, you know how it is this time of year, you're feeling joyful. You're feeling, again, you're reminiscing about the good times. Kind of like at the beginning of the year, you're like, man, our season, we're having a good year. It's joyful life. And then, things happen. And then the year kind of comes, well, you are who they thought they were. And that brings me to our next guest, talking the Seattle Seahawks. Give it up for Bo. Bo, Seattle is just who we are, what they thought they were, right? I mean, to quote the great Denny Green.
Yeah, I mean, to some degree, like I had them coming into the season as a 7-win team, and that's where we're at. So at least the media had them as a 2 to 3 win team, so they're overachieving in that way. And I don't think anybody saw Geno having the year he's having. But at the end of the day, our defense is horrendous. So, and unfortunately, a lot of them are hurt. So KC is, man, that's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
I'm more worried about the running game of Kenneth Walker coming into play because last week we saw obviously Houston run all over the Chiefs. We saw the week before that with that Broncos offense actually doing stuff, which is weird. So I don't like our run defense. I honestly sometimes I don't like our passing defense. We got too young of secondary, too inexperienced, I would say, and a couple disappointments back there from vets. So, it's. I want to say I know Tyler Lockett's. There's still a chance he plays for somehow.
No, they activated a guy off the practice squad. I think.
Did they finally do that?
Yeah, they did yesterday. So I think Lockett is officially out. Goodwin is questionable. Fant is questionable. Walker is questionable. Dallas is questionable.
I saw that Walker was playing. I read that Walker was playing today.
Yeah, he's going to play. He's probably going to be, on a snap count, right? So
no, we don't want that. Not for my fantasy team.
And I mean, if you've watched the O-line, the rookie tackles have been amazing, but the interior O-line has had, especially over the last 6 weeks, has really struggled to open anything up as far as rushing game's concerned. So I don't know that I would worry too much about your rush defense, only because they haven't been able to run on anybody. So if you look over the last 5 weeks, we haven't played juggernauts of teams, right? So, and they haven't been able to run on them. Sure. And your guys' defense, it's not amazing, but I think it is underrated for what it is they do. So, and I think people think of KC as the last few years where the defense was, really, it was a track meet every week, right? You guys had to score every time you touched the ball because the other team was probably going to also. And your defense this year is kind of middle of the pack and able to get some stops in some key spots. So I think you guys are going to be in better shape than you think.
I'll take that. I feel a little better about it this week with Seattle being kind of injured and kind of come down to life a little bit versus than Houston last week. I told Carlos last week they were talking blowouts. Nick was talking blowouts, and I'm like, guys, I don't think it's going to happen.
I didn't say it was a blowout.
You said like 40-0.
No, I did not. No, I did not. I said the Chiefs can never cover. I say it every week. I got the Seahawks covering this game with the 10.5.
Oh, I got Seahawks. Seahawks covering too.
My mouth. That was Carlos. His own fandom said that they were going to get blown out.
That was a scary game for you guys.
Well, I got like 30 questions I got to ask because this is the first time we've talked. So my first question is, Pro Bowl Geno Smith, who had that on their bingo card? Right. And then are they going to get it? I've read that they want to do an extension with him. And what the hell did Pete know about Russ? Is clearly Russ is all Seattle being really good and Russ is just that bad?
No,
so it's like 8 questions all at once. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So the first part of that, nobody saw Geno being a Pro Bowler. I mean, when you look at tape that we had of him, right? It was his first couple years in New York, a ton of backup, and then even when he played last year, he looked okay, but he had that like Jimmy G, I'm going to make the bad decision at the end of the game to make sure we lose. And so nobody saw him playing the efficient ball that he's playing this year. So that is awesome. Contract wise, it's a little bit interesting in the way that It'll depend on what he thinks he can get. If he wants to be close to that just under 30 mil, they bring him back for sure. If he wants to get more than that, I think they let him test the market because there's 23 veteran QBs hitting free agency at the end of this year, and he's one of them, right? Jimmy G does, Baker does. I mean, it's an insane amount of quarterbacks hit the market at the end. So I think they're going to kind of hurt each other's market value in that way. What was your next one?
What was wrong with Russ? Is Russ was the problem there? Because see, what did Pete Carroll know? Pete Carroll knew something because obviously Russ stinks outside of Seattle. And Seattle's still winning 8 games.
Yeah, so the Russ thing is funny because I don't think he's washed or as bad as he's playing. But what he is doing is he's playing the ball he wanted to play, right? He wants to play hero ball. And it was something that you saw in Seattle over the last couple of years was he really started to buy into his own hype of the best long ball thrower. So he didn't use his checkdowns as much, which is why we led the league 2 years in a row in 3rd and out, right? Or 3 and out, is because he didn't want that 6-yard completion. He wanted to either 40 yards down the field or scramble around. The problem is he played behind a bad line for so long that he bulked up because he got hit constantly. The problem with bulking up is it makes you slow. So he still has decent straight line speed, but he doesn't have that elusiveness. And as you see in Denver, he went to a team that he thought was going to be a contender, but their line is terrible. And he just doesn't have that elusiveness that he did early in his career to be able to get away, which is why he's getting sacked at an insane rate. I mean, he was, top 5 and getting sacked until he got injured. And the only reason he's not getting sacked is because he's not playing.
Does Seattle hate him? I mean, and did his former teammates hate him? Because I haven't heard one person out in Seattle ever come into his defense of any of this corniness, quirkiness, whatever it is, Team 3. Yes,
So people don't love the Team 3 thing, and it kind of wore on people while he was still in Seattle. I don't think people necessarily hate him. They definitely don't like the way he forced his way out. It was similar in the way to when Alex Rodriguez left those Seattle Mariners. He told everybody, I want to be a Mariner forever. And then he signed for $272 million down for the Texans. And everybody was just like, yeah, that guy sucks. And so it's sort of a similar scenario where he gave himself this persona of being the nice guy and thinking about taking a hometown discount and all of that. And then to still be under contract and force his way out. Yeah, obviously there's some bad blood there. Now, when he retires and probably makes it into the Hall of Fame, he'll definitely get thrown into the Ring of Honor there at Lumen Field. So when he comes back to Seattle in that moment, I feel like the fan base will probably embrace him. But he's going to catch a lot of boos every time he steps on the field when he comes to Seattle.
So I guess what's the feel of the run game going forward? Let's say after this season, Rashad Penny possibly comes back.
There's no way.
Or does he? You don't think they resign him?
He's a free agent.
Yeah. So this was his 5th year, and the problem, his career may actually be over. So the problem with Penny, awesome talent, super nice guy. The problem is his most complete year was his rookie season, and he only played 14 games. Over the last 3 years combined, he has 18 total starts. So it's hard to. You can be the best talent in the world, but it's that cliche, your best ability is availability, and he's just not. But that's where him in the league versus Jamal Adams is very different. He's at the end of his contract, so we'll see what happens. They're married to Jamal Adams for at least another season, and as much as they gave up for him and as much as they would be on the hook cap hit wise, he definitely comes back, despite the fact that, he made it through a quarter of a game this year.
We got a question here. Scott wants to know what you think of Geno Smith does today. He's looking at 250 for 2 to 3 touchdowns. The Chiefs secondary struggling.
Yeah, so there's definitely some spots where they're going to be able to take advantage, especially of the KC secondary. My biggest concern is the fact that your top two receivers in this game are going to be Will Dissly, who, you know, he can catch the ball, but he is of the two main tight ends. Obviously, he's the better blocking tight end. But, you know, since Fant's out, he's going to take that duty. And then, of course, DK being the other one. The only issue with DK is he does kind of find ways to drop easier passes, and you are guaranteed to get a 15-yard penalty for, you know, him not being able to shut up and get back to the huddle. So when that penalty comes, is it a drive killer, or, you know, it really depends. But 250 yards, that's pretty much what he's been doing all year. So as long as, you know, some of the other receivers can step up and make some catches, I think you're about right. I mean, the over and under on this game was 49.5, and I think they get there.
Yeah, I think it goes over in this game.
Yeah,
for both offenses. I think it just becomes a shootout. Really,
I hope so. I hope so. and I only say that because the way our defense is set up, you know, obviously we're bad against the run, and really have been bad against tight end seam route and crossing routes, which you know, Kelsey is amazing at. And then coming into this game, Al Woods, the nose tackle, is missing this game again. And yeah, he came back for one game and then he was out. And then one of our Byron Mone, he tore an ACL against San Fran last week. And so we're losing a D end at the same time. So we're going to have, you know, one guy in there that's been on the field all year, and everybody else is going to be fill-in pieces. So there's some real question marks on how the Seahawks are going to perform today.
But Bo, what's your prediction today? And then before we get you out of here, where can we find you at? Where can we find you at?
Okay, so my prediction today is probably going to be like 27-21, probably KC, unfortunately. And then you can find me on YouTube on my name down there at football-talk, and then on Twitter at football talk with Bo. And yeah. So I'll be on Twitter all day watching the games and, you know, making, you know, just talking, just talking to people.
Bo, does this team make the playoffs? The Seahawks, I mean, they were one of the feel-good stories of the first half. Are they making the playoffs?
So, man, that's tough. Like, today really matters for the Hawks. So if they win today, there's a real shot. They needed Washington to win last week because they had the tiebreaker with the Giants and Detroit. So if Washington could have pulled that off, then there would have been a little less pressure. The fact that they didn't makes it, they need help. We'll put it that way. They definitely need some help to be able to get in. And they don't have easy sledding the rest of the way either. I mean, they got KC today. They wrap up against the Rams, who plays them tough regardless of who's on the field. And then what the game in between is the Jets, right? So, I mean, that's probably a win because Wilson is terrible.
Unless Mike White's coming back.
Oh, is he gonna make it back?
It's possible.
Did he find the 50th doctor to clear him?
Yes.
Awesome.
Tanner, you got anything else?
I don't. I just want to throw my score out there. I think it's going to be a 33 to like 26 ball game.
Okay.
So I think first one to 30 wins in this game.
Yeah, that's fair.
I took with Seattle with the points, but I like the Chiefs money line.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I didn't like the spread. The spread really kind of bounced around. It went from I think it opened at 12.5, and I was like, there's no way KC is covering that spread. And then it dropped to 9.5, and I was like,
Now it's back to 10.5.
Yeah. It opened at 10.5 as best bet, and now we're at 10.5 again. So
okay. Yeah, at 10.5, that's a tough one to take because
I don't think we cover.
I don't think they do either. Yeah.
We've only covered twice at home, by the way, against the spread. So just get something to think about.
Ouch. That's rough.
All right, Bo. Well, we appreciate it, brother. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, happy Festivus, whatever you decide to celebrate today.
Awesome.
or yesterday. See you, buddy.
See you, Bo.
Guys.
Tanner, we alluded to, we mentioned it earlier, one of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team in all of football right now. And I never thought I'd utter this sentence out of my mouth. The Detroit Lions. That's right.
Wait. What month is this?
It's December.
And it's almost January? And we're talking Detroit Lions ball?
The Lions are playing meaningful games. Got to win out. I think they can do it. And with that being said, a man who knows all Lions, give it up for Backyard Pigskin Sports. Backyard, what's up, man? Merry Christmas. How are you feeling? You got to be riding high. The Lions look absolutely like the best team in the league right now.
Hey guys, how we doing? I feel great actually. I'm out here in the cold right now. I thought it'd be perfect. But
I can tell.
we have a very small house, so I'm in the middle of building a little podcast studio out here. But no, I'm excited. It's been definitely the best season of my lifetime. I'm turning 26 in January, and it's definitely the best season of my lifetime. It's just been exciting. You know, it's different going into a game knowing the outcome. It might hang our way compared to before, where it's like you might be up 36. I mean, like the Vikings-Colts situation, you know, you might be up 36-3, whatever the situation was, and you're still not safe. So it's nice to be at that point and actually have a full, complete team right now.
Was TJ Hawkinson the problem? Because after they traded him, that's when they went on this run. Was he not biting enough kneecaps? And he was just he's kind of a hippie. He was just smoking trees instead of biting kneecaps instead. Or what's been the turnaround?
I don't think it's a Hawkinson situation. I mean, I think it was the first 2 or 3 games, we had 3 touchdowns to 3 different tight ends after the Hawkinson trade. But personally, I think it's just been our defense and the defensive situation, or the change-ups we've been making. Our defense it was really rough at the beginning of the year, honestly. And just the fact that they've been able to make those changes, their offense has been coming together. Their coaching, I feel like they're getting more chemistry together. They're learning Dan Campbell's learning how to a little bit more. You know, he obviously, it's hard to say, but I'm trying to explain it, but he had a hard time game managing. And I feel like he's making the mistakes to learn what he has to do in the future, learning from those mistakes. A lot of adjustments. They've made a lot of adjustments, honestly. I don't think the Hawkinson trade I don't think he was our downfall, but I don't think it would have been worth to keep him around to pay him the money that he would have wanted. I mean, it's a type, we can fill that position.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of times it's just blocking anyway. So for the Detroit team, what's something I've been curious about, and I haven't asked Jeremy at all, but what's happened to DeAndre Swift, man? What happened? What's the downfall on this one?
That last injury, I really don't know. Like ever since I think it was a shoulder.
Yeah.
I feel like they haven't been using him as much. I feel like the first couple of games, he broke out those first couple of games, they used him a little bit more. And then ever since that injury, I feel like not the Lions are holding him back. I just feel like they're not playing him as much or utilizing him the same way they should be.
Like MCDC's just like, if obviously you can't stay healthy, so we're going to use these other guys more, and then we'll just work you in as we get to you.
Yeah, I mean, Jamal Williams is freaking killing it right now,
yes.
too. I mean, is he still leading right now in rushing touchdowns?
You know what? I'll look it up real quick.
I believe he still is.
Yeah, I think he's still leading right now. I think he's at like 14 or 15.
You alluded to the defensive changes. What changes have they made that's been better? Is it just experience through these last few games? Is it Aiden Hutchinson getting more reps? Like, what's been the change here for the Lions defense?
I think it's a mix of experience and maturing. Not obviously a lot of NFL experience because our defense is young. We have a lot of rookies. Our defensive line is full of rookies. Our D-backs are full of 1 year, 2 year, or rookies, players. But I feel like they're just maturing and coming together more as a team, figuring things out. I did some reading the other day, and they were saying that the defense or the defensive coordinators and everything, they simplified the defense so there weren't so many, I don't know how to explain, but so many things going on the field to confuse the rookies. I was told that I read that they slowed the defense down. They just kind of made it a little more simpler for everyone.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we like to
Jamal
call
Williams.
that KSS. Keep it simple, stupid.
That's right. That's right. Jamal Williams is leading in rushing touchdowns. Jalen Hurts with 13, and then Henry and Chubb there at 12. So, as long as Williams can continue to hit the end zone, sounds like he should be okay.
Yeah, he's killing it right now. The guy's just, I mean, we love him in Detroit.
Well, yeah, such a great personality coming over. I was shocked Green Bay let him go a couple years ago.
Had to. Couldn't keep all three of them. Couldn't keep Jones, Williams, and
True,
AJ
and Dylan.
So when they signed Aaron Jones, they underpaid Aaron Jones, and then he took that contract. Then we had to let Williams go. I think if Jones leaves, Williams stays.
Gotcha. Yeah, and Williams has been a guy I've been watching for the last 3 years at least. So, especially in fantasy, I had him all last year. Jamal Williams when DeAndre Swift went down. So this year I couldn't quite grab him for that handcuff, and I wish I did.
Yeah, and he's been in the league for a couple of years now, but I feel like this year has really just been his season difference. He's crazy.
Kind of a breakout in a way.
Yeah, he loves being on the field. He's having fun out there. The Lions are feeding him good.
What's your thoughts here on today's game? You go into Carolina. You guys are 2.5, just pretty much almost a pick'em game. It's 2.5 favorites. Panthers are fighting awfully for their playoff lives because their division's awful, and you guys are 7-7, trying to get over 500 and stay in this playoff race.
I predict 31-10 Lions. I know a lot of people are predicting to be a close game, but I think I believe the Panthers are ranked 30th right now on their offensive line. They haven't been great this year, and I really feel Aiden Hutchinson and Houston are gonna, between the two of them, I put it on my Twitter. I feel like between the two of them, they'll get 2 sacks, and I feel like they're just gonna pressure Sam Darnold all day.
You know what Sam Darnold's gonna be seeing on Christmas Eve? A bunch of ghosts. That's what he's gonna be seeing. He's gonna think it's Halloween all over again.
Oh yeah. I think that what is it, week 2, week 3 game that we played them, I think that was a fluke. I think this is going to be a totally different ball game. Our defense, I think, is going to be the difference maker. And again, not to mention our offense is coming together way better now than they were then.
Well, yeah, your offense is healthy now. Now you got Amon-Ra, you got Williamson, you got guys there that are able to make plays now, that are healthy. Unlike that middle of the season spark where Amon-Ra went down, Swift went down, Jamal Williams was kind of beat up a little bit. You kind of had a little bit of everybody going. So now with a healthy offense, the way it's firepowering right now, and the fact that you have a rush on defense, I'm loving this team.
And you guys are going to get like a top 3 pick again, and it won't be because you guys are awful. It's because the Rams are awful.
Yep.
What would you like to see with that 3rd pick, or one of them top 5 picks this year? Some people would say Goff's not the answer, but he's absolutely playing lights out for you guys. I mean, he's not killing you. So I don't think you need a quarterback, because I think you're shifting to win now mode instead of rebuild mode.
I think the casuals think we need a quarterback, personally.
Right.
I think if Richard, or what's his name out of Florida, Richardson, I think if he falls, I don't want to take him with the first couple picks, but I think if he falls, I wouldn't mind having him as a project behind Goff. He's not anywhere near NFL ready, but he has the physical capabilities. So I think he'd be a great project behind Goff. But as of now, I think Goff's our guy. I mean, he's playing great. He's had another stat I read. He hasn't had thrown any interceptions within the last 3 or 4 games. I'm happy with Goff right now.
Yeah, you're talking about Anthony Richardson. Florida there. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson. Yeah, he's an athletic freak. He's not NFL ready, but I think if he gets the right coaching and the right scheme around him, I feel like he has the potential to grow into a decent.
Right. You can go out, maybe get, try to see what's there early, I guess, with that Rams pick, get either another defensive guy or an O-line or, a potential weapon for Goff. And then, like later on in the first round, if he's still hanging around late in the first round, why not?
Yeah, I definitely like to attack the secondary on those first few picks. So personally,
no, that's a fair point there.
Our rookies this year, I mean, they're killing it, but our secondary has really been struggling. I mean, I know last week they did a pretty good job holding the Jets, but I went to the Dolphins game this year. I went to the Buffalo Bills game, and just watching the secondary, we need to do something there.
That was your guys' last loss, was that close game. Can the Lions win out here and sneak into the playoffs? Because I think they can. Obviously, I think as a Packers fan, just if we lose tomorrow against the Dolphins, season's over for us. So that last game don't matter. But if we miraculously win, then that last game would probably matter between us and you guys.
Yeah, I would absolutely love it if we could go to Lambeau and whoop on the Packers. If we could get into the playoffs with a win over Aaron Rodgers, I'd absolutely love that. But yeah, no, I feel we have the ability to win out. I mean, what do we have? We have the Bears, the Panthers, and the Packers left. I personally feel the Jets was going to be our toughest game. I didn't worry too much on the offensive side because Zach Wilson sucks, and I called him to be a bust. But yeah, I feel pretty good about it. I feel good about it.
Right, and that's the thing though, is like Lambeau, like you guys are already adapted to the cold because you're in Detroit. So
they don't play in the cold though; they play in the dome.
It don't matter. What are you gonna do different? You still have to walk outside. You go to the weather. You go to Lambeau. It's still cold outside. Different. So
I mean,
it don't matter.
I mean, to be fair, I think about driving to work every day. You're only there for 8 hours. You still got to do 8.
That's right. That's right.
I was out here shoveling just to get here in time.
Damn, dude.
Hey,
what is it up there, by the way?
Yeah.
What is like the temperature?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not sure. I haven't checked it. Just based off what the news, it's honestly, I don't know. It's been saying anywhere from 20 degrees to -10 with wind chill. Honestly, I haven't checked it.
That's almost shorts weather, man, compared to the last couple of days.
That's what we do.
Where can we find you at, Backyard? Go ahead and get those plugs in.
Now that I got these little jitters out here on this podcast, I am going to end up starting my own podcast eventually. That's in the process. You can find me on Instagram, Backyard Pigskins Sports. You can find me on Twitter, or you can also find me on TikTok. I also have a merchandise store there as well that has stuff for not only my stuff, but stuff that pretty much anyone can wear.
Awesome, man.
Brand is,
Yeah.
Where's that at? That's on where'd you say we can find your store at?
Yeah, you can find that link on it's on TikTok, but I don't have enough followers to have it as a link. But if you go to my Instagram page, there's a link you can click on. It'll take you straight to it.
Awesome. And that's at Backyard Pigskin on Instagram.
Yeah, Backyard Pigskin Sports.
Got it.
And then as soon as I get everything going, getting these little podcast jitters out here, I'll get my own started. I got a mic on its way, so that'll be going here soon.
Good deal. I always tell everybody, I go, just do it, man. Like you can't. Once you start doing it, it gets a lot easier. So.
Yeah, you think you're good till you get up here, and then you realize you're rumbling a little bit. But I'm an MMA fighter, and I did one for a fight one time. And that was a little nerve-wracking too. That was scarier than the fight itself, honestly.
All right, we'll have to get together and talk some MMA. I love covering MMA, and I do a little MMA-ish podcast as well. So,
yeah, I'd love to. I teach at a gym here in Michigan, Garcia Jiu-Jitsu. So,
nice.
So hey, speaking of that, before we get out of here, Hill, another Michigan native, taking on Glover, in January for the light heavyweight title. You like that fight for him? I'm a little scared for him because I'm Glover's ground game.
That's how I feel personally. I honestly feel the exact same way. I hate to say it because he's our hometown guy, and his gym's only maybe an hour from me, hour and a half. So it's hard to say it, but yeah, I think Glover's ground game is really going to make the difference.
Hopefully, he can keep it standing and knock him out. I mean, I like Glover, but he'll just the young blood to kind of give the division some new life to it.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to catch him, or he's going to have to outpace him for 5 rounds, personally.
I mean, Yuri couldn't even outpace him. So anyway, man, we could go on for days. So we'll hijacking this whole football show. So hey, we appreciate it. Backyard Pigskin. Thank you, and Merry Christmas, brother. Get in the house and warm up, will you?
Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas.
Hey, you too, man. Thank you.
All right, Tanner, man, we are just keep moving on. The gifts that keep on giving. We'll bring in both of these gentlemen next. You guys know who it is. Friend of the program, Scott. Scott, what's up, my man? And I heard
I am a Dolphins fan this week. I'm telling you, Johnny, I'm a Dolphins fan.
I heard this man, him and his quarterback, asked for a nice massage. Give it up for the legendary man, Bobby G.
Hey,
What's up, my man? Hey, I heard you
hey,
and
what's going on,
you and
fellas?
Deshaun getting together, getting a nice massage. I thought, and is that why Deshaun played so good last week? You and him was getting massages together.
Yeah, I'm on the West Coast, so he came out here to Vegas. So we got lots of places to choose from. So yeah, we got loose, got
Yeah, got
loose. So
really, yeah.
yep.
Right, that's
Hey,
what.
before we get going though, man, shout out to Backyard, man. I salute anybody who's brave enough to step into an MMA ring on no matter what level, amateur, pro. Dude,
Amen to that. Amen to
hey,
that.
screw that. I'm a
Yeah, right.
novice. I'm a novice MMA fan. I'm getting into it and learning. Yeah, salute to anybody who does that job.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I love it, because it's killed or be killed in there, and it's that
Yeah,
the last gladiator aspect that we have in life. So
absolutely.
let's get into I don't know, Tanner. Let's get into the Browns here. What's your feelings on the Browns with Deshaun Watson? What, this is fourth game now?
This is game number 4. Yes, got Baltimore, Cincy, Houston. Yep, game number 4.
How are we feeling with Deshaun at the helm? And the Browns still have just a smidge of life left in the playoff hopes, just like my Packers do.
Dude, once again, we're not counting on the play. That's over. That ended when we lost to the Bengals, unfortunately. And just like many, the Jets game is the one that's come back to bite us. If we win that game right now, we're 7-7, and I think we control our own destiny a little bit, or definitely better than we do now. But yeah, the playoffs are over right now. We're just looking for that improvement from Deshaun. And actually, I'm loving this game because it is supposed to be feel like -4 at game time. So we get to see what Deshaun looks like, in this is what we got him for. We got him for these games right here, going into the playoffs, going into playing at home in the playoffs, going into Buffalo, going into Pittsburgh, going into Baltimore in the playoffs. These are the games we got him for. So this is a good preview of what we hopefully should be able to look for next year, end of season.
Bobby, I wouldn't say the playoffs are out of reach, because have you seen the Patriots and the Jets play down the stretch yet?
It's not pretty.
Good. It is not good.
I have, but unfortunately, we got to rely. I think the scenario is we need like 17 things to happen exact, and one of those things being, I think the Chargers, Ravens, and Dolphins. Either one of those teams would have to lose all 3 of their remaining games. That's tough. That's tough.
Wow.
That's tough.
I've seen the Chargers struggle down the stretch in the season. So
unfortunately, I think the Chargers play somebody horrible today.
They got three easy be wins. Like their next 3 games are
right.
The Chargers do.
Just remember what they did last year, guys. All they needed to do was beat the Raiders and get into the playoffs. Instead of they choked it out the last week and missed the playoffs.
All they had to do was
you
tie.
Never know.
All they had to do was tie.
Tie. Yeah, you're right on that one.
On this side, the Kool-Aid is always, it's half full. So, we'll take it, but we're not counting on it.
Nick Chubb, does he bounce back today? Are we seeing the Nick Chubb we saw earlier in the season, or
no?
What's going on with him?
No, you're not going to see that. He's got a foot injury. He's toughening out. He's doing his Iron Man thing. I don't expect him to get his usual load of carries. I look for a good split of him and Kareem. You may even see a little Dearness today because of the weather.
Yeah.
If they lose once they're eliminated, do you think Chubb's done for the season since he is banged up with the foot?
No, because you got incentives and stuff, and I think they have more respect for him than just completely shut him down, unless he's just like, I just can't go. But nah, he'll finish it out. He has too much respect for the game.
I've heard all over the radio today that everybody expects Taysom Hill to play a huge role for the Saints.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
How do you think they stop him? Because the weather's going to be terrible in Cleveland. So,
not worried about Taysom Hill. More worried about Kamara, especially since Olave is down, Jarvis Landry's down. Andy Dalton cannot throw in wind. I think the wind is supposed to get up to like 40 to 50 miles an hour, and in that stadium, it just kind of swirls around in a bowl. But yeah, Taysom Hill, he's the least. I worry about Kamara. Kamara going for 300 yards would possibly.
Well, he hasn't done that all season, Bobby. So I don't think that's happening. He ain't been the same
No
all
running back
season.
has done anything all season until they played our run defense is that bad. Like this last the Ravens, J.K. Dobbins ran for 180 yards. It was second game back, first game back.
Yeah, I believe it was the first game back out.
Come on, yeah, our run defense is that bad, so it is possible.
Scott, I want to ask you about your Patriots here. How is Jacoby Myers cut from the team after that awful decision last week? And did they pick up Mac Jones's body laid in the middle of the Vegas field? Was he able to make the trip home? So what's going on with the Pats? And is Bill O'Brien the new OC next year?
He should be. I can't stand another year with Matt Patricia, to be honest with you. So Jacoby Myers did not get cut. He is playing today. Mac Jones did have a press conference this week in Foxborough, so he's in Foxborough. But
his body is, but his mind is still planted 6 feet
I'm a
deep.
Bailey Zappi guy, so I would love to see them change to Zappi. I don't think it's going to happen. Jacoby's going to stay away from the quarterback room this week because that pass went right to Chandler Jones. Actually, it was a good pass to Chandler Jones. But if you expect Mac Jones to run 55 yards against any defense, you're sadly mistaken. So it's just one of those miracle in Miami,
What were they thinking though? Because that game was tied. Was that a bit like
he came out and he said they were just trying to be a hero. He was just trying to be the hero. He wasn't expecting Stevenson to pitch it back, and then he thought, I can maybe try to get it there. So
they
didn't just trying to play hero ball.
They didn't need a Enrique or Batman, but they need a Superman today and this season to get in the playoffs.
The bad part is, I'll give you two things. The bad part is Ramondre had cut the other way. He had a touchdown. There was nobody there. So if he doesn't go to the sideline and he cuts the other way, he's got 6 and the Patriots win the game. And number 2, I've said my hot take this year, Patriots don't win another game the rest of the year. Cincinnati, Miami, and Buffalo. It's a no-go. But yeah, it's a no-go for me. So
Anthony Price said, you can't cut Myers. He's the best player on offense. So
second best to Stevenson. Stevenson's the best by far, I think, without question. So
bigger question is was there a fight? Because if I'm Mac Jones, bro, why are you putting me in that situation? We were fighting in the locker room.
Did you see him during the game? He was emotional as could be. He was ripping the coaches. Even Edelman and them came out and said, this guy's not a Patriot quarterback. He's not. He doesn't have his wits about him. He's a very emotional guy. So.
Yep, we've
seen Tom Brady do that for years, though. Tom Brady's emotional. You see him yelling at guys, throwing, stuff down the replay thing. I mean, so to say he's an emotional guy like that, Tom Brady was the same.
Well, William McGinnis was so upset with the loss, he went and punched somebody out in a diner. So I saw that clip the other day. He walked into a diner and punched some guy out.
I think that was the Browns half of Willie. You got that dog in him.
That's good.
With neither one of you guys' teams making the playoffs, Bobby G, what is your thoughts here in the offseason? Because we got 2 weeks left here. What do the Browns need to do to improve for next year?
Well, we just shored up our right tackle position. We re-signed Jake Conklin. I think it was 3 or 4 years, $60 million, 30 guaranteed.
Yep.
So that's good. I mean, Conklin, when he's healthy, he's awesome. Problem is we got to keep the guy on the field. I think the first season he was here, he played 11 out of 16. And the last 2 years, he's pretty much missed half the season with injury. So we got to get that guy over to Cleveland Clinic and hook him up with something. But the other we got 2 things we need to accomplish. We need defensive tackles who got some dog in them. We cannot give up 1 billion yards rushing next season again.
Yeah.
The second thing is we need a deep threat. We need a deep threat to free up Amari and DPJ underneath. Schwartz has proven that he can't be that guy. I know he's got that track speed, but we can't turn him into a wide receiver. He's just not a football guy.
Yeah.
So we got to go out and get somebody, whether it be trying to refurbish Will Fuller, hey, I would take Deshaun Jackson again. He looks great at 38, but we need somebody who can take the top off the defense. It's going to be difficult since we don't have a first round pick. Gave that up for Deshaun, but those are the two areas, because if we fix those and nothing else, most of Cleveland will be happy.
Yeah, Anthony's got a question for you, Bobby. He says, you think if Hunt leaves, which I think that's a foregone conclusion, Nick Chubb going to get injured next year carrying the team 100%?
No, we still got Dearness under contract, so we'll still have a very, very solid NFL backup. And then we got Jerome Ford behind him, the guy that, if you guys remember last year, out of play for the undefeated Cincinnati team. He's very solid. He's a rookie this year. He's been returning kicks, but he'll probably get some action. If we're eliminated from the playoffs, he'll get more action besides special team, maybe about 5 to 7 carries in the last few weeks to see what he can do. So, our running back room will still be very solid.
The offense is not going to be the problem in Cleveland next year. It's going to be getting some guys on defense.
No, it better not be, because people will burn the stadium down. If that offense comes out next year and looks any kind of flat, any kind of, people accept it now because they understand the situation. Deshaun hadn't played in 2 years.
Yep.
Plus, all year these guys the offense has been carrying the weight and defense has been lacking. So people are kind of giving the offense a pass for the rest of the season. Next season, if they come out game 1, they better put up at least 35 points.
Wow.
If they don't, and the defense balls out, oh yeah, people are gonna go that $230 million. That it's gonna be a lot of pressure on Deshaun. Absolutely. A lot of pressure.
No question.
Jamie, you got anything before these guys get up out of here?
Yeah, hold on. I'm looking up something real quick because I'm curious.
Yo, trivia time?
No, I'm just curious what his week 1 stats are since 2018.
Nick Chubb?
No, Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun this is a throwaway year for him. He just needed to play.
Yeah.
And I think once he got to play in an NFL game again, I think he'll be good next year. I really do. I think he's going to return to a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah. I feel the same. Especially if you look at last week, he the first 2 games, it was definitely an improvement from game 2 to 1. But last week was different.
I thought last week he looked the best he's looked in a brown uniform, Bobby.
Yeah, and he also showed some swag. If that's what got you, he broke like a 15-yard run.
I think it's turning, man. I think it's turning.
His little celebration. So he felt it was like the first couple of games he played, like it's almost like he felt guilty for playing. Like, all this is on me, and I'm out here playing. He's trying to not to be the guy. It's like, dude, you're the guy. You got to be the guy. Last week, he showed a little swag. He let it out a little bit when Brissett came in and picked up that fourth down conversion. He got a little celebrated. Like he kind of visibly asserted himself as a team leader.
In a way, you could see I missed football. This is what it was.
Exactly. Yeah. Now I'm just going to play. No matter what anybody says, I'm just going to play.
Now we got the energy back. Now it's time to really start putting pieces into play.
Exactly.
But the thing I don't want to hear today with Deshaun is, he had a miserable game. He threw for 75 yards or something. You got to look at the weather. It's because of the weather.
Yeah, right. That could happen.
So
that could easily happen.
I don't want to hear anything on Deshaun struggled or whatever. He played bad. It's simply because the weather is so bad there.
Yeah, we today just need him to make 3 to 4 plays. 3 to 4 plays, get the game in our favor, and let the run game handle the rest.
Yep. I'm right there with you on that. I agree with that.
Yeah. All right, Bobby. Hey, give me a prediction for your Browns game today, and then Scott, go ahead and give me a prediction for the Pats in Cincinnati before we get you all out of here.
Look similar to last week. It'll probably be some 13-17-3. There's low scoring, ugly, grimy.
Browns winning, right?
And, I think we can handle Andy Dalton.
For me, unfortunately, the Bengals are going to win 31-13 today. I just don't see the Patriots being able to control them. Belichick's going to try to stop Jamar Chase. I don't think he's stoppable. I think he's matchup proof. And I don't think Cincinnati's going to try to run the ball that much. I think they're going to throw the ball a lot today. So,
I had Cleveland winning today until I just saw this. Not a good sign, man. Not a good sign to come into play. So I still got Cleveland winning. I think they still win, and I think Patriots lose. So
yeah, I'm with you guys on that. Scott, before we got a fantasy question for you, got to hear you like Geno Smith in 70-degree weather or Tua in 50-degree weather, and Tucker or Gano?
Gano, baby.
It's Gano. I agree with Tanner. Minnesota gives up a lot of points to the kicker position. The Giants are going to be kicking a lot of field goals today, I have a feeling. So
give me Geno and Gano in that matchup there.
Yeah, the Kansas City secondary is struggling. Tua's got to deal with Jair Alexander, number one, and number two, I think Miami's going to run the ball a little bit more than usual because that's the way he beat the Packers is running the ball to set up the pass. So the cold weather is not the problem; it's the wind, and if it's snow, any part of that. So cold weather is never a problem. And I'm gonna tell you something right now: DK Metcalf's going to be a top 5 wide receiver this week in fantasy. No Tyler Lockett. So
Let
me set my lineup.
Bobby G, where can we find you at, big man?
As always, YouTube and wherever you catch your podcasts, whether it be Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify, and such places. Fan University Podcast. Go check it out. Last episode I had a lot of fun. I did 10 historical teams that didn't win championships that would probably be dynasties in this era.
Yeah, we have to check that out. Did Chiefs any Chiefs make it?
No Chiefs. I'll give you what I'll tell you. How many teams you guys want me to say? I'll give you that number.
Give us 2 quick teams.
Oh, yeah,
2 quick teams.
2 quick teams.
Yeah, we're running out of time here.
The 98 Vikings. Everybody knows Randy Moss's rookie year.
Cunningham. Yeah.
15-1.
Yeah.
And the 84 Dolphins. 84 Dolphins, Dan Marino, Mark Clayton, Mark Super Duper.
Yeah.
They were really one of the first teams to go. I mean, them and the Chargers back in the day, air raid offenses. So you put Dan Marino in this era where you can't put hands on his wide receivers, just letting them run all over. Oh my God, that'd be a fun sight to see.
Scott, where can we find you at?
I'll be on Let's Talk Sports later on today with Johnny for the AFC East Roundtable. I'm on Let's Talk Sports Monday nights, Saturdays, on the Game Day show, obviously, and I-80 Sports on Fridays and Sundays. So that's where you can find me.
Hey, well, we appreciate it, boys. Thank you. You guys have a Merry Christmas.
And we'll see you guys,
have a great.
You guys later.
Yeah, have a great weekend, guys.
Take care.
Peace.
See ya.
Bye.
Tanner, what if I would have told you at week 1, week 16 in meaningful football, we're going to get a quarterback matchup of Brock Purdy and Taylor Heineke?
First, I would have said who when you say Brock Purdy to begin with. Second, I'd be laughing because I knew Carson Wentz would be benched. So.
Well, that's the matchup we're getting, and to help us break it all down, we got Alec representing from the 49ers, and Wendell, welcome back, representing the Commanders. I got to make sure I say it right. Boys, welcome. Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining the Saturday game
day show. Nick, do you have like a script there, like a little thing on your monitor that says Commanders like every time, just to make sure you hear it right?
Hopefully, yeah. I always want to say, the R word.
Right. Well, with me being the Commanders fan, even I still have to make the mistake of saying the football team.
Whatever
Fair
they
enough.
want to call themselves, they're teetering on the brink of playoff elimination. While Alex's team, with Brock Purdy still running the show, they look better with Brock than they do with Jimmy, I feel like, Alec, at times. Let's start there. What's your thoughts here on this young kid, Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, running the helm these last 2 games?
All aboard the Brock Purdy train. Choo choo. He's just been outstanding since he came on. I was a bit nervous, to be fair, when I seen, especially we've had it before with Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard, 1-game wonders come in, they know the playbook. But the Seattle game really confirmed, I feel like there's something there. He's calm, he's under pressure. He's so much better than Jimmy G at pressure. He goes through his reads like 1, 2, 3, and then he'll come back to his first read. Like, I'm pretty shocked. Coming out, I think the reviews on him that if he was a couple of inches taller, he would have been in a top 10. I think the heights and his arm strength, but I think he fits really well in Kyle's playbook, which is there's your first receiver, there's your second receiver, and there's your third receiver. One of them's going to be open. So, and I think Kyle likes him because he's decisive. So,
the consistency from Purdy is the biggest thing for this 49ers offense right now. I actually think it's elevated them since Jimmy G, because you saw in the middle of the season, right? Jimmy G, you don't know what you're going to get. You're going to get that 10-6 score, or you're going to go out there and blow a team out. I think it's closer to, for Brock Purdy, and I said this on my Wednesday show, for Brock Purdy, it's closer to the fact, or the best part about Brock Purdy is he's keeping that defense off the field to rest and not putting them out there for 35 minutes a game. I think that's the biggest key for this 49ers team right now is, yes, he's moving the ball down the field, but he's also not doing a bunch of 3 and outs.
I think today's matchup is going to be really, really interesting just because he's playing a
Chase is back.
D line. Yeah, Chase is back. I mean, when I was going through the numbers, their sack numbers that Washington have got is pretty higher than I thought they were. That D line looks nasty. I've only caught a few games on Red Zone and Game in 40, but that D line is pretty nasty. So I think it'll be really interesting over how our own line handles it.
Chase Young is back, but it seems like the Taylor Heineke magic is kind of going away. Ron didn't really kind of gave him just a smidge of vote of confidence, but does seem like Carson Wentz might be warming up his arm.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, people wanted to take a look and talk about the 2 plays. One that was called a penalty offside that was called against the Giants last week at the end of the game, and then the non-holding pass interference, jumping all over, mugging, whatever you want to call it. I understand, but look, as much as I was screaming and yelling and everything, the Commanders lost that game long before those 2 situations took place, and in the best case scenario, they were going to go to overtime anyway. So it wasn't like the New Orleans, Los Angeles Rams NFC Championship game a couple of years ago with the non-pass interference call. So, yeah, I mean, Heineke fumbling inside the red zone, the opportunity for the Commanders to go ahead and do some things. The Commanders are at a conundrum, I must say, because at the quarterback position, you can go back to Carson Wentz if you want to, but what was he doing before he got injured? I mean, the Commanders were floundering, and not to say that Taylor Heineke is the end-all, the be-all, but it's a situation where Heineke is going to keep you in the game for both teams. And now with the return of what I like to call our version of Nick Bosa, I mean, a guy who's a pass rusher who was great in college, who went to Ohio State, who burst on the season, but can't seem to keep injured, just like the 49ers, Nick Bosa. Our Chase Young is going to come back and add to that D-line. I'm interested to see in this game against San Francisco, a team in San Francisco that already clinched their division. How much are they really going to be putting into this game compared to a Commanders team that's going to should be pretty desperate? I know that they're going on the road. I know that they're going cross country, and I know that they're going from playing a Sunday night game to a Saturday game, so they're not getting their full rest. But the optimism that I have with the Commanders in this game is the fact that with the 49ers clinching that division, how much of how much enthusiasm or how much a passion they're going to play with against a desperate team like the Commanders, and with Heineke playing, are we going to get good Heineke, bad Heineke? What quarter are we going to get good Heineke and bad Heineke? What half? What series are we going to get good Heineke, bad Heineke? So that's my deal going into this game.
I think with Heineke, he's still the guy that's on your roster to be the quarterback, right? So the receivers obviously believe in Heineke more. There's more energy with the receivers, more energy within the team. As far as, what does San Francisco have to play for? Well, they still have a third string guy, granted, as well as he's done, but you got to keep seeing consistency going on the road, beating somebody, beating a potential playoff team like this Washington team could be. And so that's kind of my thoughts there. I think Heineke, I don't think you go back to Wentz. because Scary Terry and was not happy. Johan Dotson might have been, but Scary Terry was not happy, and you don't want 2 receivers upset or 3 receivers upset or anything like that. So, but yeah, I think there is still a purpose for this game for the 49ers. But Alec, what do you got here for that?
Yeah, I think they keep saying they're chasing the second seed, and I can't see it. I just don't see the Vikings and the Eagles dropping that many games. I don't see it happening. I want this game to be over by halftime, and we can put in rest CMC, rest Kittle, rest Ayuk, rest a few of the D line as well. With Kinlaw coming back, so the longer this game is short, the more I worry. I think Washington stays in it. We need to be 17 up half, or else it kind of worries me, because Heineke's one of these where he can just have that flash in the pan quarter and throw 3 touchdowns, and you're like, well, where did that come from? And he's a running quarterback as well. He's got some legs on him, and that scares me because we're not amazing with running quarterbacks in the past.
All right, Alec, I think this is actually, I know how weird as it sounds, this actually might be a bigger game to see where this Purdy experiment is for the 49ers, because, like I said, inconsistencies earlier in the season with San Francisco with Jimmy G there, like you never know, where you're going to go. Now we've seen, 2 or 3 consistent games from Purdy. Can we see a fourth? Can we see, actual, like, I don't know, a starting material in a way, being out there. I love the 17-0, having an issue there. I just want them to be at least a touchdown or 2 up, like show that you're staying within the game consistently, because that's what struggle with Jimmy G was.
Yeah, I think when the playoff comes, my thought is, can we handle it if we're 7 down, 14 down? Is he enough in there to hang in the pocket? And so far, he's shown that
that'd kind of be fun to see too.
Yeah, and so that it's going to be interesting to see if we do go down, how we come back. And again, looking at this offense, they can run the ball. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be a really interesting match if Washington bring their A game and Heineke brings a good 3 or 4 quarters out of him. But I'm hoping it doesn't happen. Sorry. I'm hoping
Wendell, I was kind of something I was thinking of here, and we talked about this earlier this year. Does the fact that Washington's in this playoff hunt, at least, obviously with Chase coming back, Heineke doing what he does at the moment, keeping this team alive, does this save Rivera's job?
Oh, yeah. I think Rivera's job is safe. Again, with all the turmoil in the upper management, the owners, change in ownership eventually, it saves Rivera. And then I think that he's been good enough to save his job. I think Washington is just they're just a C+ type of team, a little bit above average. And with the way that this the coaching situation looks in terms of, unless you're going to be getting yourself a Sean Payton, I mean, maybe whoever buys the Commanders can offer a piece of the ownership to Sean Payton and everything else. I think that would probably be the only reason why he would even consider coming to the Commanders. But outside of Sean Payton, I don't see any other real option for the Commanders to go to if they were to part with Ron Rivera. So, yeah, it's a situation. And guys, I think this game comes more. We keep speaking about the quarterback. I think this comes down more to the defense and the running games. I think that those are the stars of the team right there. How's Christian McCaffrey going to do? How Brian Robinson is going to do for the Commanders? And Taylor Heineke and then Brock Purdy are just going to be there to say, hey, man, don't screw things up. But for Purdy, I think this is also going to be a pretty good test, because you're going to be facing another strong defensive line. And while the book is still being written on Purdy, on how he plays, his tendencies, his strengths, and his weaknesses, to go against a defensive line and a defense like the Commanders that have been playing well over the last couple of games during the stretch where they've gotten the playoff position, it'll tell a lot moving forward about the San Francisco 49ers quarterback Purdy, moving on toward the playoffs, the short term instead of the long term for this season.
Gotcha. Football Talk over here says, if Jimmy's available for the championship game, who gets to start? Is Purdy's hand on fire? Because I think Purdy gets to start.
I think Purdy gets to start. I don't think, unless Purdy declines massively, I don't think Kyle makes it an issue. I think Jimmy's going to have a foot issue for a long while if Purdy's steaming ahead. I think that's the answer.
Of course, it would be interesting because if they lost, then the argument would be, how can you go with a guy, or how could you leave a guy on the bench who's been so successful as your starting quarterback to go with a 7th-round draft pick? So that's Kyle Shanahan's job security being pretty strong to make a decision like that.
All right, before we get you guys' predictions here to get you out of here, Bobby G does have a comment here for Wendell. Do the Commanders go to the draft to find a QB, or do they look to try to get some young backup like Jordan Love or Purdy in the trade?
Well, they're not going to get a trade for Purdy. I think Purdy is pretty much situated. Well, with Trey Lance there, but we never know. But we got Sam Howell, the quarterback for North Carolina, who really hasn't had a shot yet to do anything because we're in win now mode. Yep. So if the Commanders were to draft a quarterback again, it probably wouldn't be toward the later rounds. Now drafting or trading for a Jordan Love, that might be an option. But with the Commanders, the way they are as a team right now, and Rivera as a coach, I think they would try to maybe go for a more veteran-style quarterback. They have a defense that can do some things. That's a strong playoff type of defense. They have a running game. They have some legitimate skill position or skill wide receivers. So to start over by drafting a quarterback or having a Brock Purdy situation, I think with Ron Rivera, if he were going to make a change at the quarterback position, which I hope he does, it would be more toward another type of Carson Wentz type of quarterback who has some mileage on his tires and veteran that could
another vet coming into
Jimmy
play.
G.
Yeah,
Jimmy G. There you go.
Yeah,
already got.
There's rumors about the Commanders being interested in the last all season, so why not?
Right.
I heard the Snyder's had offers for $7 billion to sell the team.
Well, then it's out of my price range. I'm out. 6.5, maybe. When he hit 7, now I'm done. I can't.
Seven's too high. Seven's too high for you, Wendell.
All right, let's get some score predictions here into play. Wendell, what do you got?
I've got the I hate to say this. I got the 49ers winning this game. I think that Brock Purdy does just enough. The Taylor Heineke experience, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, especially with him being on the road, the Commanders having a short week. So I expect a close game somewhere around the tune of 21-17, something like that, old school run the football, ball control type of game. But I think, unfortunately, at home, the 49ers beat my Commanders.
All right, Alec.
I would say a 31-9. I've got the Trent Williams touchdown as well, just to add insult to
wow.
31-9. That would be nice. In that case, I think the Commanders are going to win 42-0. How about that? No.
Purdy regresses big time, right? Nah. I like the 49ers, of course. I think it's going to be like a 27-14, 13 kind of deal. Something crazy like that. So, Nick, what do you got?
Yeah, I got the 49ers here as well. Like 28-14 or 24-14 or something like that. Give me the Niners to win and cover.
I thought you people were nice.
The longer this game is tight, though, the more I worry, is what I'd say. The longer this game stays at kind of that
close
7 points, I think they can sniff out a win, and that does worry me a bit. Yeah.
If the 49ers went 31-9, Alex, I'm going to come looking for you. After I come looking for Taylor Heineke.
Amen to that. So, Nick, go ahead and take it away.
Hey, boys, where can we find you guys at before and you guys have a Merry Christmas? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You can find me on Twitter at SimpsonAlec90, part of the 49ers Faithful as well. So get onto that Facebook group, Twitter as well. Big group, always have fun. So yeah, that's where you can catch me.
And you can catch me, Wendell's World of Sports, anywhere where you listen to your favorite podcast, iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, Amazon. You can also check me out my YouTube shows on Wendell's World of Sports, WENDELL_S worldinsports.com, where I'll be crying because the Commanders will lose either 27-14 or 31-9.
All right,
sorry,
boys,
Wendell.
We appreciate you. Have a good Merry Christmas, and we'll see you guys next year.
Merry Christmas, fellas. Thank you.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Man, we got to keep the show rolling, folks. We have a still continued more packed house. The last time I think we talked to this gentleman, he was about to jump through some freaking tables, it's time to find out whether he did. His Bills have been on an absolute roll. Look like the wagon that we all thought they were. Welcome to the show, Casey. Casey, what's up, my man?
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm all right, brother. How are we doing? How are we feeling about the Bills? I think that this week is the easier week, but man, I'm looking at that Bengals matchup to be the last tough task here for Buffalo.
Yeah, that's going to be a real tough game for us. When the schedule came out, I went through it. You know, every fan goes through win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. Well, so far, I've only picked one game wrong, and that was us dropping that first game to the Jets. I predicted us to lose to Miami. I predicted us to also lose to the Bengals as well. They're a good team. I mean, they looked rough in the beginning, but that was with a brand new O-line right in front of Joe Burrow. I mean, it takes 4 or 5 weeks to get an O-line to all work together. I mean, that entire unit has to work as one. And they're finally hitting their stride. You know, Jamar Chase is back healthy. T. Higgins is getting healthier. I know Tyler Boyd's dealing with that finger injury, but that looks like it's going to be a really tough game next Monday.
Yeah, that could be the game for number one AFC spot in the playoffs. I think the Chiefs would have to lose one more for the Bengals to get it, but then they would own the tiebreaker over the Bills and the Chiefs. The Bengals would. So, I mean, we're looking at the 3 best teams probably to me in the AFC, the Bills, Bengals, and the Chiefs.
I agree with you. Like you just said, I believe that it's going to be Bengals. Whoever wins that game is going to end up being the number 1 seed. Last week, I kind of thought that KC might drop this game to Seattle today, but just as it's getting closer and closer, it's so hard to like choose against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I mean, it's Brady Belichick 2.0.
They're going to make it look good, you know, of course. But,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. It'll be somewhere around, you know, like 27-14, 30-14, but it'll be like 21-14 going into the fourth quarter, you know, but it won't look as close as it was.
Correct. It's gonna be one of those games. Backdoor covers.
Yes.
How is this Bills defense still surviving with so many injuries now? Von Miller, Micah Hyde, like they've been able to continue to find ways to win even with those injuries on a defense that was, you know, somewhat, I mean, really good last year, but with these injuries have now shaken some things up.
So, I mean, we're still top 10 in the league as an overall defense. I mean, that's big kudos to Leslie Frazier over there. I mean, being able to basically at some point, all 11 starters have missed a game on that defense at some point this season. And to still be top 10 is amazing. So just big kudos to Leslie Frazier. But a lot of our injuries happened early in the season, you know, kind of like in weeks 1 through 6, weeks 1 through 7, except for Micah Hyde and Von Miller. None of them have been season ending, knock on wood. But we're starting to get healthier now. I mean, we see Ed Oliver is active today. Jordan Phillips is active today. So our defensive line as a whole is like there, except for Von Miller. Tremaine Edmonds, Matt Milano, you know, they're back. They're fully healthy. Milano getting snubbed from the Pro Bowl. I couldn't believe that. That's not just being a homer. Anybody that's watched him knows that
he should have been.
He's one of the top 5 linebackers in the game right now. Jordan Poyer finally got the nod. And the players that have come back and were hurt, they've come back at full stride. And that says a lot about the training staff to where you see a lot of these players, like what Mike Williams and Keenan Allen went through earlier in the year, where, yeah, I can come back. And then, you know, both those guys played one play in a game trying to come back and had to sit out at multiple games after that because of re-aggravation.
No, I'm with you there. It's this Bills team. I still feel like they're trying to clean some stuff up here. And I think towards the end of the season, you're going to see that. But it's nice to see them have one more big game. Essentially do that with the Bengals coming up just to see where they're at. And I think Josh Allen's, you know, is starting to come back around, get back with the receivers. But they also have a run game now, kind of, a little bit. right? They're figuring out, with Cook and Singletary, like they got a little thing going on between those two, and I think Cook here could really start rolling as well to be by himself by possibly playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, so it's amazing what happens when you stop giving Zach Moss the football, so he runs into the butt of your lineman every time. But I mean, I loved James Cook coming out of the draft. I thought he was exactly what the Buffalo needed: a fast pass catching running back. Devin Singletary isn't big, but he's a bruiser. He's like 5'7", 190 pounds, but he has such a low center of gravity. He's just like a little muscle hamster. I mean, he runs people over. He gets through tackles. So we needed somebody that could stretch the edge and could run like the off tackles and sweeps and stuff like that. And that's what James Cook brings. And then we saw in that at the end of the half against the Dolphins last week, he was there making a diving catch with no time left in the first half for a touchdown to extend the lead. James Cook is exactly what we needed. And with Singletary being a free agent after this season, I don't know if he's going to want to test the waters and try to, because there's a lot of running backs out there. If he's going to think that he can get a little bit more money from Buffalo, because we are going to be tight on cap this year, or is he going to take that hometown discount to keep that 1-2 punch?
You got to think that Buffalo wouldn't really go after him because they don't really want to pay, that kind of money without, really, really team-friendly deal, because you got Nyheim Hines on the other side still sitting in the back. So, like, you got depth already, and there's no sense of going after Singletary and wasting part of the pay, salary cap or whatever, and trying to do that unless it's a stupid friendly team deal.
Bills Mafia is going to hate this, but don't be surprised when they draft another running back this year.
They will
on day 2. Like I've said it all year. All right, since we got Nyheim Hines. All right, we've got the super fast guy who's also our returner and our veteran. We've got James Cook who's like stepping into his role. He's gaining confidence. He's doing well with the football now. And so now we're going to need another bruiser, another Devin Singletary.
Yep. I'm right there with you, man. I think it's going to happen. So I really don't have anything else for this game. It's going to be about stopping Fields essentially. And once you stop Fields, I mean, I know Herbert's back. Herbert and Montgomery in the backfield are usually a pretty good duo. But when you don't have enough time to pass the ball, all you're going to do is run between Fields, Herbert, and Montgomery. So just throw a couple of spies on him and see what happens.
Well, when we played the Ravens, what changed in the second half for our defense was Matt Milano was tasked with being a spy on Lamar, and that shut Lamar down for the second half. I mean, we saw what happened. Bills came back and won that football game. I expect the exact same thing to happen today. All right, just the Bills do very well against running quarterbacks. It's odd, they just don't do that well against Buffalo. We're very good at contain. And like I said, with Matt Milano being able to spy anybody he needs to, he can do that and cover the ground. I mean, I know Justin Fields is a hell of an athlete, but so is Matt Milano.
Yeah.
If he can handle Lamar Jackson, I'm going to gladly say he can handle.
I think Fields gets his occasional, 15, 20-yard runs. Like,
you
can't stop an athlete like that, consistency. But I think when it comes to like when it matters, those, long third down stops, essentially, especially kind of late in the game, I think that's where Milano will probably come into play. So, I like the Bills to win. I think they win handedly, probably a couple touchdowns for this versus Bears team, and I think Justin Fields makes it a little exciting, but I don't feel like it's going to be much of a game.
I predicted 27-17 Buffalo.
Just
because we do every now and then we do struggle stopping the run, and between 3 basically great running backs back there, in the Bears backfield, there's going to be challenges. The weather's going to be cold. It's going to be harder for the Bills to throw the football.
Yep.
But if the Bills can get out to a lead and make Justin Fields actually throw the football, then that's going to bode very well for Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm for it.
Casey, what's the plan for all Bills Mafia? Is it to just get drunk and jump through tables here? Is there like a special table you guys get for Christmas, or
go out in the 3 feet of snow?
Oh, dude, I'm looking at it right now. I can't even see roads. And I live in Central New York. I don't even live in Buffalo. We're not getting it bad, we're not going to get bad like they are. Nope, I got my game day socks and pants on, my game day jersey, and we're on a win streak with the Jim Kelly. It breaks my heart. For my birthday last week, my wife got me a Stephon Diggs jersey, but I just can't wear it because of the win streak with Jim Kelly. But
don't touch it. Yep.
Exactly. Yep. Just ordering pizza. You know, if you're a little cold, might take a shot of whiskey or something like that. Keep your insides warm.
There you
go. Know, but that's my plan for the day.
I like it, man.
And where can we find you at? Go ahead and get those plugs in.
So we got the Mafia Cast Facebook group and Facebook page over on Facebook. Come join there. We stream live every Wednesday. We just changed from Tuesday to Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern. Those streams are live on Twitter, both our Facebook groups, and on YouTube. And you can find me personally on Twitter at Skeeds24.
Love it. Love it. And see here, Din Jarin. Drink up. Drink it up.
I will be. Trust me.
I think that's the theme today anyways, at Christmas Eve.
What else are we going to do in a blizzard?
Exactly, right.
Hey, well, we
awesome,
Casey. We'll see you. Merry Christmas and have a good one, buddy. Hopefully the Bills beat down the Bears.
Thanks, guys. Have a good Christmas. Go Bills.
All right, Tanner. Who is the guests just keep on rolling here.
All right. We got Josh next here.
We'll go ahead and bring in Josh in.
I've been waiting for this one. What's
going on, fellas? How y'all doing today?
What's going on, man?
Josh, how you doing, brother?
Hey, man, I'm here, man. You know, it's Christmas Eve. You know, I got my I don't got no drink, but I got my water with me. Got some Tylenol, and I'm ready to see what the Ravens going to do today.
Hey, you might need a couple, man.
Hey, right. The Ravens are Huntley is a go, so they're not having to go to the third string quarterback. I was reading some reports today. Lamar hopefully back next week. But this team is falling apart here quickly, and here come the Bengals to overtake them in this AFC North division.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, the Bengals have definitely been that distant cousin or that little brother that's been, nagging at the leg. I mean, they've definitely been making their presence been known. I love the fact that the Cincinnati Bengals are finally, they've been competing, but now they're really competing. So I mean, it's definitely good for them. For the Ravens, the good thing about it, the Jags helped us out Thursday night. So that takes a little bit of pressure off of us. Now, can I say the Patriots will pull an upset against the Bengals? I'm a realist, and I don't see that happen. Do I see Baltimore getting the job done? Me being a fan that I am, I'm going to say yeah, just a little bit, but but knowing the Ravens, anything can happen. So it's definitely interesting to see how everything's going to play out, especially with the Bengals. The rest of their schedule, because I know after the Patriots they do play the Bills.
Yeah,
and they'll play out. So
I mean, the Bengals have a hard schedule regardless. I talked about this 5 weeks ago. Like, if they come out with this schedule here, they might end up being like a 2-1 seed here. Right. Obviously, division winner with that, because I mean their schedule was so tough. Having to play against a lot of great teams, and right now they've done nothing but win.
Yeah,
and it's. You got to give credit. Like we talked kind of trash on I talk trash on this team all the time, but I talk trash on the Bengals a lot. And all of a sudden it's like they start clicking, and it's a different team.
Well, you know what? I say this you can tell when teams are hurting when they missing, intricate pieces to their offense. And without Jamar Chase, without a T. Higgins, sometimes without Tyler Boyd, you can tell when the offense, is the defense, they doing okay.
Yeah,
but still, they missing some pieces on that side of the ball too. But I mean, once we saw what happened when they got Jamar Chase back, I mean, it
was the KC game.
Yeah, the Buccaneers just completely fell apart in the second half. Like I don't even know, was that Vegas, the bookies making the call, or whatever the case may be. But usually when you got the lead, especially when you Tom Brady, you try to keep it up.
You do, right? Like normally you try not to, blow that lead, and the Bengals came back and they showed that they can do that. They can march back. So back to the Ravens here. Obviously a very disappointing showing last week, very low scoring. Couldn't execute in the red zone. and it seemed like there was no help. I know there's no receivers for you guys right now, but like, is it really that bad in Baltimore with no weapons at
Ravens
all?
wide receiver hasn't caught a touchdown since week 3, so there's that.
Yeah, man, you ain't gotta remind me, man. I know.
He's aware.
As Johnny would say, stop bringing up old stuff. That's
and the bad thing about it, week 3, it was the guy that's now hurt, that's been out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, Bateman.
So I definitely would say that the wide receiver core, you try to have hope in it. Me personally, during the offseason, I was saying let's ride with this wide receiver core. It can't be no worse than the 2019 wide receiver core. And it's kind of making me eat my words because they can't get no separation. No real plays are being dialed up for them to create any type of separation. But it all falls down to scheme and preparing. When you hear about James Prochet, you heard about him every summer, every day at the facility, working on his hands. Him and Devin Duvernay probably do have some of the best hands in the facility right now. The only thing is, at one point, Devin Duvernay was used as a gadget guy, and James Prochet barely sees the dang on field. And when he does see the field, y'all expect for him to just be, hot and ready like popcorn. No, everybody has to warm up. I mean, hell, when they threw Snoop in there, Snoop wasn't even expecting to play. He had to warm up. And honestly, me personally, I don't think he should be playing because for the simple fact that he is the low tier Lamar Jackson. Everybody wants that Taysom Hill is. No, Snoop is. I like Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown got a little bit more zip on his ball, and he actually played quarterback. He threw over 3,000 yards at Boston College and Oregon, but that's just my opinion.
No, that's fair. I think so. Let's just throw this out there because it's still possible on all this playoff talk. Let's say the Ravens somehow end up missing it, right? They lose out, a couple more games, cost themselves a playoff chance. Is it time to move on from the Harbaugh era?
Man, Tan, I've been saying this since 2018.
I know you talked about it last week too.
Josh, wasn't he? It was reported at one point that he was going to leave. I thought the year before Lamar's rookie year, I thought it was
he was supposed to leave then.
He was headed out, and then
2018.
I think his eyes opened up once Lamar was like, "Hey, we're not rebuilding. We got a guy."
2018 was that year for him when Joe Flacco went down, because we all remember John Harbaugh started as the Baltimore Ravens when they drafted Joe Flacco, so that was his era. So putting them, you still have a coach still in the old stone ages. I want to say, because we have to be honest with ourselves. The offensive coordinators previously didn't even know what to do with Lamar, nor did they really like Lamar. It was almost a Dwayne Haskins type of situation that they had over there in Washington next door, because that was sad. When you see your starting quarterback, pretty much pleading his case with his offensive lineman laughing in his face. They showed the clip of that. Rest in peace to the young man. He was a DMV guy, Baltimore guy. So he brought a lot of electricity to the stands and everything of that nature. But you saw the clip too, with John Harbaugh sitting down next to Lamar, talking to him about, the record he's broke, how kids going to be, looking up to him one day and want to be like him. That, the way I took it, it was like, you know what, yo, thank you for saving my behind, because I was out the door.
That's what it was.
Let's be honest. If Lamar didn't take over that his rookie season, and what is it? I think he won about 5 or 6 games, got into the wild card.
They won like 7 in a row, I think, until they faced the Chiefs in the playoffs, that wild card.
It was the Chargers. It was the Chargers, because they beat the Chargers in the regular season and they had to play the Chargers again in the wild card. And the Chargers put like four corners out there and pretty much stopped the run. So
that was the year the Chargers lost to the Patriots.
Yeah,
I remember that. So all right, let's talk about this game here. Going to play the Falcons. A team last week that was on the verge of a comeback, and their rookie Jake London decided, I'm just going to give the ball up. And then you got the Ravens team that only scored 3 points against the freaking Browns, and a low scoring game at that. What's your prediction? What's your thoughts of this game here?
Man, listen, you know, the defense was trying to do that bend no break, but at the end of the day, when the offense can't put up enough points or stay on the field, it takes away from the stamina of the defense, and that's pretty much what happened. Nick Chubb, Deshaun Watson with the underneath dunk throws, they pretty much wear that defense out. So if we want to win today, the defense has to cause turnovers. The good thing is we are in Baltimore with the game. We do have our tough man in the field because it gets the rocket in Baltimore when we play our home game. So I know it's been a while. So it really comes down to the defense. Marlon Humphrey has to lock up Drake London. I don't know about the other wide receivers in the core. They don't have Kyle Pitts, so that's kind of good. And stop Cordell Patterson. You got to stop Cordell Patterson. He is an X factor. And, Desmond Ridder is a rookie quarterback. As we all know, Ravens history week pretty much going to tell against rookie quarterbacks. So I'm hoping that's what we can do today and pull out a win. I'm going to say it's going to be a low-scoring affair again, possibly 13-10.
13-10. Okay, I can see that. I know for defense-wise, though, you don't have any Marcus Peters, no Campbell, no Ajabo, right? So, I mean, hopefully there's enough spark still to be able to keep that thing going.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I'll be talking about it later on the Trust the Bank podcast pregame show about why David Ojabo got activated last week and now he's inactive this week, whatever the case may be. Obviously, they know something at the facility that's going on that the fans don't know. But I do love the fact that Pepe Williams, Demarion Pepe Williams, is coming back to play. He does have that outside work. Playing as cornerback 1 at the University of Houston. And I love our running game to get going and pretty much do what the Tennessee Titans do. We don't got to pass the game. Run it down their throat until they stop it.
JK Gus, Tyler.
Hey, Josh, before we get out of here, I got to ask you, what's the future of Lamar Jackson? I think that's everybody's I don't know. I mean, what do they do? Like at the beginning of the year, like I was saying, back the Brinks up truck for him. I thought he was going to have an MVP type season. Obviously, not quite the MVP type season. Then the injury now as well. What should the Ravens do here with Lamar going forward, and what kind of contract do you think it is? Because they could franchise tag him, so I don't think he's going to see free agency this year.
I definitely feel like Lamar Jackson's going to express. If I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm expressing my my concerns with Eric DeCosta in regards to coaching, whether it's the head coach or the offensive coordinator. Me personally, I feel like Lamar Jackson needs a offensive coordinator that's going to bring back the past that pro set, something like a Gary Kubiak did for Joe Flacco, because we all know that Lamar Jackson, the way he won his Heisman Trophy and became a finalist 2 times in a row, is by in a pro set offense. It wasn't just on the stem of his legs. So I feel like they're wearing him down on that note. So there has to be changes being made to that coaching room. If there's not changes made to that coaching room, I do see the Ravens possibly franchise tagging them and may help them out with a trade. I know the Ravens organization are good for that. They did that with Hayden Hurst. They did that with Hollywood. So if Lamar actually asked for a trade, I can see them going out there to seek one for him and try to get up some incentives for that. So as much I would love Lamar to continue to be a Raven, me personally as a fan for him, I want him to get the best opportunity in the NFL. I want him to get a Super Bowl, and I want him to be better than what he's been here, because I feel like what John Harbaugh and Greg Roman, he has reached his plateau for the offense.
They haven't done any favors. I say that. I tell people that all the time. Like, who the hell's he throwing the ball to? You know what I mean? Like, that's it. Like, look what weapons he has. He has no weapons. Bateman has been hurt. I mean, he's a good. Yeah. He likes to think the kid is good, but he's been hurt the better part of his 2 years in the league here. So there's that.
Hey, they got Sammy Watkins back.
Yeah. You got Miami is always hurt Watkins. So
Demarcus Robinson and Sammy Watkins.
Go ahead and plug those. Get that plug in before we get you out of here.
Man, on all platforms, Spotify, YouTube. You can catch us on Trust the Bank podcast. Me and my co-host McConnor. We will be going live today for the pregame and postgame show. Today around 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thank you guys for having me on here, man. Y'all have a good Christmas and enjoy your Christmas Eve as well.
You too, Josh.
Hey,
Appreciate you, man.
You too, Josh. Appreciate you.
All right now.
That's always fun talking to him.
Ravens gotta have a lot. They're gonna have a lot of question marks, especially if they don't make the playoffs. Like that's a interesting.
It's huge right now.
Yeah. What to do with Lamar? Tanner, we talked about the Patriots earlier. To get more Patriot talk, we got to bring in our old friend, Mr. Keith.
Oh,
Keith.
good.
Keith.
What's up, my
Guys,
friend?
Merry
Christmas.
How you guys doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm fabulous. I'm just waiting for Santa to bring me a new offensive coordinator, and we'll be happy.
Hey, Bill O'Brien might be sliding down the chimney. Keith. That
It's
is
funny.
the reports earlier.
I heard that story. I didn't read the story. I actually, for my show, I was actually for another show. I was asked to have a Christmas present for the Patriots, and one of them was Bill Belichick wakes up from his nightmare, moves Matt Patricia back to defense, and either Josh McDaniel gets fired or Bill O'Brien ends up coming up back north from Alabama. And then I saw the story afterwards, so I'd be happy with that.
Be okay with that. Yeah. And so there's lots of things going on in the Patriots offense. Most importantly, Mac Jones, who seems to be a very passionate, very competitive player. It's always kind of yelling at Matt Patricia, which you can't blame him, but you even got him Bill. Like, do you think it hurts Mac Jones staying on this team here? Or do you think this is something that, secretly Bill, he will never say, but he loves seeing this side of Mac Jones?
No, I think he loves to see that side of Mac Jones. I mean, Tom Brady did it for 20 years. And, I find it hilarious that a lot of the expatriates now have come out publicly and gotten on Mac Jones a little bit.
Right? That's what blows my mind.
When they watched
we were
it
just
for
talking
20
about
years.
with Scott. Yeah.
You know?
I said
Now,
Brady
I know
used to do the same thing.
I know Tom Brady's got a little bit more cachet, right, to be able to yell at his teammates, yell at coaches, whatever. But I like to see that fire. I'd rather see that than Zach Wilson, out there like he doesn't give a crap whether he's playing or not.
Like an oh shucks kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like, dang it, I got benched again.
Even like Eli Manning back in the day never showed any emotion, any fire. But I mean, he wasn't a bad player. Don't get me wrong.
People criticized him for that, though. I mean, no emotion, just the old shoulder shrug. Eli Manning shoulder shrug. There was no personality or fight in him.
I don't think it's done in a disrespectful way. It shows me the guy cares about winning and that means something to me. And I think it means something to Bill Belichick as well.
Yeah. It's kind of brought me back around on the Mac Jones train lately, just watching him. Because when you see him go in yelling, like you see him like trying to be passionate because he does want to win. Yeah. I think it does show the guys kind of buying back into him versus middle of the season where it wasn't really anything bought. I talk about energy all the time within teams, and this is kind of bringing not the energy quite yet, but this will start in that path for Mac Jones, and it's kind of brought me back towards the Mac Jones train just a tiny bit.
Yeah, I've wavered. I've been a big Mac Jones supporter, and I've wavered a few times this year, a little bit, kind of as you alluded to just now. But you're right, that type of thing has me hopeful. The fact that he's frustrated and pissed off, excuse my French, makes me happy. He shouldn't be
supposed to be pissed off. Nobody likes to lose, right? Like that's the thing. Like, nobody. You're
challenging upwards, right? Challenging upwards. Like, this is stupid. What are you doing?
So Scott here kind of took my question here for you, Keith, and I was just going to ask you if you think the Patriots make the playoffs, but he wants to know if all 7 teams in the playoffs that are currently, if the season ends today, are they making it? And that would include I don't think your Patriots are in right now, right? Like they're
not. They're out right now. They're going to need some help. I mean, I don't like rooting for Aaron Jones, but I got to root for Aaron Rodgers. I got to root for him tomorrow night because we need a Packer victory in Miami. Because last week's game, the Patriots would have controlled their own destiny if they won last week, and they don't now. Even if they won out, there's no guarantee that they'd be in, and winning out will be difficult. Bengals obviously today. Dolphins next week, and the Bills to finish out the season. Hopefully the Bills will have everything wrapped up that they need in that game, I would hope. But a few weeks ago, I thought 9 wins would get them in. Obviously, it's probably going to take at least 10 now. I project Miami at 10-6, the Chargers at 11-6 and the Patriots at 9-7 at best, and that leaves them.
Yeah, I don't think the Pats are getting in. I think that stiff arm from hell ruined their playoff hopes yesterday or last weekend.
What the hell are you doing? Throw from Jacoby Myers. I mean, what are you doing?
Well, first it was Stevenson, right? And then we were like,
that was
what are you doing there? And then Jacoby Myers, like,
I get it. He's a kid. He's excited, and
trying to make something happen.
I put this on the coaches for just telling these guys, look, at whatever happens, just fall down. Don't fumble the ball. Don't start throwing it around.
Why didn't they just kneel, Keith? Why didn't they just kneel? Why not just run out there and kneel and take it into overtime?
I'm okay trying to make something happen there. I really am. I get it. A lot of people will kneel and take it to overtime and take your chances there. I'm okay trying to make something happen, but you got to make sure nothing stupid happens. And they obviously didn't do that.
It's kind of dumb though to blame the coaches, because at the same time you were talking to professional football players that should have some kind of awareness of what's going on.
No, I get it, but some of this comes to coaching, right? Because you just have to hammer. These guys are professional players, yes, but they're kids and they're whatever.
Yeah, I guess you got to consistently remind them. That's fair. That's fair.
You know, and look I'll give Stevenson a little bit of a pass because he's a kid, he's a youngster yet. But Jacoby Myers gets the ball,
runs backwards,
fall down. What good? Even if this is your play, which it isn't. What good comes of throwing the ball 30 yards backwards to your quarterback? What's Mac Jones going to do with the ball?
Slowest guy on the team.
I mean, I couldn't even get mad. I've been mad since Tuesday, but I couldn't even get mad till Tuesday because I was numb. Like I couldn't
believe it.
What I just saw. There's no way they did this. Oh.
So
and Mac Jones, you know what? And Mac Jones, good for Mac Jones. Again, to the opposite of things that Zach Wilson does and guys like him. He kind of blamed himself for not tackling a guy, 100 pounds bigger than him.
He did.
Well, it's like the guy also towers over you and has another 200 pounds on you. Like,
he got a nice stiff arm, and I don't think there was any way he was bringing him down.
I don't think so either.
No, Chandler Jones deboed him and said, "Give me that's my chain," and ran the other way.
And I'm sure Chandler liked doing that against Belichick and the Patriots as well.
You know he did.
Right.
Yeah. So, yes, it was a bit of a nightmare because now things don't look so good. I was feeling really good at that point. They played a good second half. Even though they gave up the touchdown, I don't blame referees. The call was what it was. I never, ever have blamed a loss on a bad call. You can't put yourself
in because you're a Patriots fan, you're still reveling in the old tuck rule, so you can't ever complain about the refs because they've been pocket for the last 20 years, Keith.
Your point's relevant, but it's not the only reason I don't. It's a great point. The tuck rule got put away right after that game. We all know it was a fix. We know. Jeez.
Keith, what's your thoughts on today's game? The tough Bengals. I think the best playing maybe the best team in all of the AFC, maybe the best team in the football. I love Joey Burrow. Anybody that watches my shows or this show knows I have a huge crush on Joey Burrow. I'd probably marry him if what's your thoughts here?
We don't have to get into that. I don't judge people no matter what. Don't worry.
What's your thoughts on Cool Joe coming in and the Bengals, who are absolutely just lights out?
You're absolutely right about the Bengals. 6 in a row, playing at least as well as anybody in football, probably better.
Yeah.
The Patriots, and I love Joe Burrow too, and I love Chase. I mean, they're just a great combination. He's got some really good weapons around him. The offensive line's playing better. Patriots' only chance today is to be able to get to Joe Burrow and I think just disrupt that passing game as much as they can. They're not going to shut it down. Control them, maybe hold them to field goals once they get to the red zone. And score touchdowns when they get to the red zone themselves. I think they'll move the football a bit. Although the Bengals are one of the top-rated run defenses right now, which is what the Patriots have been doing well. One place that they're not, I think they'll try to shut the passing game down as much as they can because Mixon, as good as that offense has been, Mixon hasn't been as good as he's been in the past for whatever reason.
He's better out of the receiving than he is. Running. I think Samaje Perine is actually a better runner right now as far as behind that O-line.
Yeah, I look at the Patriots. I think are going to need a perfect game today to win this game. They have to have luck on their side, and they have to execute. They got to take better care of the football. They got to stop the stupid penalties, which have been listen, that's a coaching problem too. Sorry.
Big
I know
time.
players are stupid, but I've never seen a Patriot team get this many holding calls, false starts over and over.
Oh,
and
it's
over
bad.
again.
It's bad.
It's frustrating to watch, and they've got to clean that up and convert. They have moved the ball this year. They haven't scored points like they did last year, but they have moved the football, and they just can't put it in the end zone when they get to the red zone. So that's going to be the difference today. Get the ball in the end zone and keep them from kicking field goals, because Bengals are going to move the football too. We know that. And Patriots got some big guys out today too. Mills is out again on defense. Parker's out on offense. Some other guys banged up. Thornton's banged
Harris
up.
is out again.
Harris, I think, is a game time, unless it's changed.
They already called him out.
Did they?
Yeah, they called him out.
Yeah. Well, as long as Stevenson's ankle holds up, that'll be okay. I'm all right with that.
Right.
One more question here. I want to get your thoughts here. Scott saying he thinks Bill needs to relinquish being the GM. What's your thoughts here on, Bill just going back to straight coaching and not buying the groceries, so to speak?
I think it's interesting. We go back to Bill Parcells with the groceries, right? But I think it could come to that. I get asked a lot whether, would Kraft ever fire Belichick? And I think Bill's safe there as long as he wants to be there. I do think there could come a point in time, and we could be getting close, where Kraft says, Bill, you need to step back from one job or the other. And I think Bill will want to continue to coach if that becomes the case. I do think he wants to coach until he wins a Super Bowl without Tom Brady. I really believe that. If it takes till he's 80, I think he'll be there. So there's a possibility he'll get asked to do that.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there.
Give us your prediction for today's game.
This will be very hopeful prediction. Patriots 17, Bengals 14. Probably it'll be Bengals 28, Patriots 15 or something, but I'll hope for the Patriots to grind something out here in the cold, and probably going to be windy over there. I'm not sure what the wind situation is going to be, but it's died down here, but we're like 3 hours away from there. So hope for the best. The season rides today. We pretty much got to win out, I think, to make this happen. And stranger things have happened. I saw it last week. Strange things happen. So maybe
it's all a lie.
Maybe something strange and karma will come back around my way this time.
Not a lie there. So yeah, I don't have anything else. I think you're right. They just got to win out. So I think Bengals do win out this game. Unfortunate for you, but they're just lacking too many injuries and too much discipline.
I'd rather seen this game a couple of weeks,
correct
6 weeks ago before this team got playing well and they were banged up. It would have been a much better chance for the Patriots. Look, Patriots have put themselves in this position. They lost a game to the Bears they never should have lost. They lost last week's game they never should have lost. They really should have beat the Vikings on Christmas night. Didn't happen. You woulda, shoulda, coulda. It didn't happen, and now they're where they are, and backs are against the wall.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I think if it was 3 weeks earlier, we'd be talking different.
Yeah. So, well,
yeah, I like the Bengals to win this one outright and to cover. So,
Nick, you're a Steeler fan?
No, I'm a Packers fan.
Packers fan. That's right too.
Yep.
That's right. A big Packer fan tomorrow night myself. Assuming we win today. I
don't think that's happening. We're not winning tomorrow.
If this game was in Green Bay, I think they would have a very good shot because Miami's not very good on the road this year. So, but they're not. Come on, Aaron Rodgers.
Come on, Aaron. It's time. It's time to show up.
Bring your Colt boys with you and let's win a game here.
So before we get out of here, Jay Glazer's just reporting real quick. New York has lost all confidence in the former number 2 pick, expected to part ways after this season.
That shot.
Wow.
That shot. He may still, he may go somewhere and figure it out. But until he grows up, it was never going to happen in New York. Once it's gone too far the other way, the fans, he's lost the team, he's lost the fans.
He's lost everything. Yeah,
you're not coming back in New York here. He might go. He needs to go somewhere where it's quiet, Atlanta. Someplace where he can be kind of
market, like maybe or a team that's just in the dumps, like the Texans or somebody like that, or
no microscope. And just he's got to reflect and he's got to grow up.
Well, Scott agreed here. They should trade him to Carolina. Keith, where can we find you at? And go ahead and get those plugs in there.
Well, you can catch me on TGI Sports Talk. You can catch all my stuff on Let's Talk Sports. Obviously, we have the my Sunday stream of consciousness. Today we had our Christmas Eve stream of consciousness because we won't do a show tomorrow. We've got the college football huddle on Wednesday nights. Are You Serious on Fridays? A weekly vlog and some other content. I get our good friend Dan Harris on Major League Baseball and the NFL when I have time.
Yep, agreed. Love seeing this stuff. So, and of course, you always had the Man New Yorker there, time to time, right?
Boy, there's nobody makes my head explode like Carlos. Let me tell you. Wow.
Gotta love him. Awesome.
For sure.
Thanks, Keith. Appreciate you. Have a great Christmas, man. Hey. We'll chat with you later.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Merry Christmas, guys, and be safe and happy and have a joyous holiday with your families and friends.
Yep. Hey, you too. Thanks, Keith.
Bye-bye.
Love Keith there. So, well, Nick, wrapping her up here. Do you want to give your Packers prediction again real quick so that everybody knows?
Man, I forgot what I said last night on Johnny's show, but I'm going to pick the Packers to lose 24-17, I think. Okay. Dolphins.
Okay. I think it's going to be a little closer.
I know you said Seattle's covering the Chiefs, so what's the pick there for you?
Let's see here. What do we got? It was a 10-point, right? 10.5.
10.5.
So I'm going. I think I told Bo I'm gonna go 33, like 27.
33-27. Oh, you did already mention this.
Yeah. I think 33-27. Where's Johnny, guys? He is oh man,
honey-do list.
It's a lot going on for him today. He's got to go mow the lawn. He's got to go shovel the driveway.
In Miami. His wife's making him unfreeze the pipes. He
has to go He has to go up to South Carolina to buy some coats.
Yes.
You know.
They got to bundle up. They're getting the wood stove out. So that's where Johnny is, Scott. He
chopping wood.
Chopping wood out there. 50-degree weather. So he's freezing. Said he's too cold to even come on air today.
It's a chilly day. All his lines are frozen.
Yeah.
And now he's worried about the Dolphins.
Yeah, wasn't working. So that's where Johnny is now. Johnny, we miss you. He did just say honey-do list was too long. Merry Christmas, Tanner. Merry Christmas, my friend.
You too, man.
Whatever you celebrate. So we appreciate it. Go ahead. Bodkins and Buffoon and Bodkins. Maybe Monday. So.
That's the plan. So turn on the notification, guys. You'll know in case something changes there. And there was a time change for the Titans-Bills game, as Mr. First Downs indicated. It is now a 1:00 start, so 1 Central.
True that. All right, Tanner. Well, I appreciate it. It's been another great week, folks. Go, Tanner. I'll let you hit that outro, man.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, friends. Hey, before we forget, last day of the giveaway is today. All you have to do is subscribe to the Bodkin Show, Let's Talk Sports, and the Whiskey Sports Podcast, and comment on just like these fine gentlemen did today. Our girls, if I don't think we had a female comment, but just don't want to discriminate. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody. Enter the giveaway, $100 gift card, jersey your choice, and LTS mug and t-shirt. That ends tomorrow. Dan, we miss you, brother.
Sorry, yeah. Texans for Titans. My bad.
Merry Christmas, everybody. And Tanner, go ahead and hit that outro, baby.
See you guys.